And we are live. It is Sunday, Sun's Day. Hail Ralda. We are here together once again. Hope everybody's doing well this Sunday. We're going to do another call-in show, 619-431-0334. We got somebody on the docket coming up. You know him, Archangel, and we'll go from there. This is also streaming to everybody this time over on Patreon so that maybe more people will find it. I'm not really sure how that works. Do people actually go on Patreon to look for live streams? I've never done that. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's out to all. Maybe more people will become tier members for the stuff behind the goodies hidden on the other side of the wall. All right. And let me get FTJ rocking here. Oh, look, Tanitris is on. I haven't seen him in a while. Boom, 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 boom. David Duke is working out his show here. And all right, standard hello. And we'll put the 619-431-0334. I do still have the option of trying that Video Ninja. I know it doesn't work for the setup that Archangel has. So he just calls in, but other people can also join if they want to try the Video Ninja. I didn't go through StreamYard because it limits how many places you can be at the same time, and it also makes it so it's really hard to navigate, and you have to mess around with the audio in order for you to be able to hear anything if I play a clip. Whereas if I just go through OBS, it's a lot easier. Navigation is a lot more simplified. All right, let's go to boom. Ball Busters. And it says, how? Wait, man. No, seriously, how? All right. The Dream Stream goal is, of course,
79!
What's that again?
79!
There you go. So, you know that we were independent here. This is a great effort. And the time spent here is always a pleasure, but it's also a lot more good for the soul if you know it's going to be reciprocal as far as the support goes. Let's see. I'm gonna read that. It's behind my head. I'm trying to read behind my own head. That's pretty funny. 79 kids. That's 79. That's right. Hello, Karen. Gotta drop out when I call, but glad you made it. Yeah, you'll be in. You'll be able to field questions from the audience directly here for them to hear you, Archangel. And let me just go. Do I really even want to deal with this and address this? Oh yeah. So my debut using the sixth part of the British Edda. I was on Crusaders.gg for one show. I did not insult anybody. I was actually very polite about how if you haven't seen this show before, you might want to catch up on the other ones. This is where you can find them. And I talked about who I was and where I come from. That I was a Coast Guard and all. I did all this stuff. And I was addressing one person in particular when I said, if you don't like it, you can just bounce. You don't have to be disruptive. And about an hour after I was done with that stream, because I saw it pop up, they didn't do it They didn't do it before it was over. I got a ton of followers in a debut stream, which is kind of strange, given my experience on other platforms. And guess what? They banned me. Yup. After one show, the arbiters of free speech over there on Crusaders banned me. And 5 times in the last 3 days, people have kicked me out of the chats over there, and people who cross-pollinate are on FTJ that also happen to have a channel here they've banned me for without anything. No anything. Just one person. One time it might have been merited because I was a little aggressive with my defense of the platform, and I mentioned that. But when the person who's responsible for banning me can't own up to his actions, and then cowardly, like a big fat pussy, bans me, or kicks me off his chat so that I can't communicate, and so he doesn't have to communicate back. That just goes to show the level of mentality. I'm telling you, it's a Fed den, and they're manipulating people with their Christian beliefs, and they have all these activism things that are posted on that site. Places they can send you to go get in trouble, so they have something to. It's like the Oy vey sending you out to fight their battles. So that's that. I've got screenshots of all that. If I really feel like bothering to show, what the hell? Why not? Let's go. Let me show you what they do here, just for fun. Oh, that was the wrong one. Hold on. Ding, ding. Okay, now if we're in, I think it's probably best to do this one. Oops, I wasn't trying to do that. Let's see if I can do it this way. Hold on. See if I can pull it up first. Oh yeah, here it is. All right. Well, I gotta take it down then. Whoops. I don't really care. Let's just go with this. Like this. Come on. So this is the screen I came back to after I got off the elliptical, doing my 4.5 miles last night. It says account has been locked. User. And then two R's. No one spells Herman like that. It's not even like a German way of saying it. It's like a ghetto way of like writing it. It's two N's, yeah, but not two R's. Herman Heinrich. Your account has been banned. What did I do? Did anybody watch the show last night? I didn't do anything. I was trolled in the middle of it. And he asked me, hey, would you like to, Buck and Dildo over there asked if I would like to get on a monkey stream together with him so we could go yell the word nigger at children. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. You're a piece of shit. I don't do that kind of crap. This is the free speech platform. So here, let's have a look. These are the stream key questions. So you would think that you're in the right place, right? Should a streaming platform have the right to ban users solely for expressing unpopular political opinions? Of course, the right answer is no. Free speech should be protected regardless of popularity. Next. I don't know if they'll all be. Yeah, they're in order. What is the best way to counter speech you disagree with? More speech and open debate. Does that mean ban somebody from their chat? They're awfully fragile in their egos, or they're a fucking fed op who doesn't want to hear anything but their own echo. Do you believe individuals should be free to question any ideology? Speaking of ideologies, isn't religion part of that? Wait, where is that? I guess I'll just have to drop it and put it back up. Do you believe individuals should be free to question any ideology, including those promoted by governments or institutions? Obviously, the answer is yes, but not over there, even though they ask the question as if they're for that. Let's see, where are we at? 4. And then, okay, so 4 says, what economic system best protects individual freedom and prosperity? They don't have the correct one here, which is a constitutional republic with a true the people actually run it. It says a free market economy with minimal government interference. Close enough. The other ones are stupid, so that's the answer there. The other one says, should the government have the power to decide what information people can access online? And of the choices, no individual should decide for themselves what to read and watch. Well, you don't give your viewers or your users on your platform the opportunity to pick if you delete people off of it. So what are you trying to create over on Crusaders? And number 6 says, history shows that regimes which censor free speech and disarm citizens tend to And of course, become authoritarian and oppressive. Kind of like the environment over there. Yeah, like their environment. Should content creators be allowed to discuss any topic on a stream, including controversial political subjects? Yes. So they believe free expression is a fundamental right, just not mine. Just not my right because I'm not one of their fucking agents. So it's okay to get on Omegle and Monkey if you're over there and scream the word nigger at children and then browbeat them for as long as it takes for them to click off on you. But I can't talk about the British Edda. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The right to bear arms is a fundamental right that protects citizens from tyranny. Yes, obviously that's the answer. Number 9. What is the biggest threat to free speech today? Apparently it's crusaders.gg. But big tech censorship and government overreach, and agencies pretending to be free speech platforms. Crusaders.gg exists because agents made it. Because the ADL funded it. I don't know what the real answer is, but it's not what they think, what they're saying. Creators deserve a platform that respects free speech and does not censor political views. Oh, you mean like FTJ Media? Like, those guys actually do what Crusaders tries to pretend to do. So, yes, I'm at the best place I could ever be already, called FTJ Media. And that is the facts. Those are the facts. But it was kind of interesting to see how quickly I accumulated a bunch of followers last night. So people there are starving for information. They want to hear the information. But they're not being allowed to. They're only being allowed to be exposed to that which those people over there have decided they want to be exposed to. And they can't handle criticism. They can't handle anybody even minutely disagreeing with them. Huntress kicked me off for saying, actually there wasn't an original sin. Oh, you're one of those guys from GoMTV. Really? What? She kicked me off of her stream. And then that Gilly jerk-off Waffen did it to me today. Yeah. Because I had 2 accounts. And I'm sure that one will be gone now, too, now that I mentioned it, because these guys are paying attention. Bunch of agates. You can put the F on if you'd like. They don't deserve the F. Okay, so once again, welcome to all. And hopefully the notifications will go out. They go a little slow these days. But I just want to also, while I'm here and while I'm staring at this, want to express my appreciation for the superior website when it comes to free speech. And a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, not that long ago, not that far, far away, I was a using member, almost a founding user of the platform Joshua TV. And it went away for funding issues and other things, and people over in Brazil not really putting much care and attention into it. And it came back, sort of. It didn't come back, but the platform outline did, from which FTJ was built upon. And I had a hand in getting the right people together to make that happen. So I take ownership a little bit in this. I protect it. I'm a watchdog on FTJ Media. So when I see the infiltration or the potential for infiltration by a bunch of absolute retards who are going to bring unwanted negative attention to us, that to me is something that I won't just sit back and watch. I'm not going to see the Trojan horse just march its ass in here, even if it's just full of termites, little pests. But you know what those termites do? They attract other negative attention, and then the agencies and the places that hate us talking about what we talk about, they will use that as an excuse to take down the whole entire project. And that's not fair to Dave. That's not fair to Giuseppe. That's not fair to Davis. That's not fair to me. It's not fair to anybody on here who gives a damn about the truth and has a more dignified and intelligent approach and has a deeper comprehension level than the vast majority of the people that people like Paul Miller will attract. He's not always bad, but the element that he tracks is, and I don't think that's right for FTJ Media. So that's that. I'm gonna voice that opinion. No, it isn't, honeypot. Yeah, Christianity is fake. Dude, get the fuck out of here. Karen, will you do that for me? If not, I will. So I have no problem with this because this is fucking bullshit. This is one of their people playing their fucking game right now. I told you they'd be here. I told you they were going to be watching. Honeypot Enjoyer. They just fucking made that. Speaking of honeypot, yeah, Crusaders. There you go. You little fucking bitches. Nothing that I did in that that presentation yesterday was directed at anybody in particular, and I was working off the presentation and the reading. There was nothing offensive about any of the things I did there. And these guys will have 100 different accounts doing 100 different stupid things, and they're going to try to be disruptive until they get bored and walk away. And then they'll come back again because they don't have lives, and they'll do it all over again for a period of time. Then they'll, you know what I mean? It'll be a cycle that repeats itself because these people are fucking pathetic. They don't have families. They don't. Who the hell would want to fuck them to make a family? So, that's that. Cool. I still see it here, Karen. Let's see. Do I need to refresh? Yes, I did. Cool. I still see it here. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for Archangel to join us. Oh, that's what I need. I need the Evil Dead join us clip. Remember when the cabin, you see the eyes overlaid in a layer? It says, join us. That'll be a fun one. Thank you, Karen. Did you feel good exercising your mod muscles? Did I make Archangel one? No, I didn't. He doesn't have a shield. We are the shields. Protectors. Oh, here he is. Cool. Oh, shit. You know what? All right, hold on. Okay, you got to give me a second because I kind of messed up something real quick. Can you hear me? All right, let me see if I can do it while you're on. Trying to find the... Sometimes I look at buttons and don't know what to press. It's kind of blank out there. All right, let's see. Speak? It's not working. All right, can you call right back? Because I just... Actually, no, hold on. Let me see if I can get this to work. Try again? Oh, okay. So you called in ahead. I have it linked to the Roadcaster. Give me a second again to refresh that link, and then can you call back in like 5 minutes? Well, not even 5 minutes, like 2 minutes. All right, man. All right, I fucked that one up. So that was my bad. So many things to remember when you start a show, yeah? All right, let's see. Let me get in there, connect. Oh, it's supposed to connect. It didn't. So I probably could have done it while I was on there. I guess I just didn't finish the process. All right, so whenever you want it to, Archangel, it should be good now. And let me get that off there too, so we're not doing the echo. We should be good. Bam. Okay. Hello, Thomas Dwyer. How you doing, sir? You guys missed the... Yeah, so when I went on to confront the shitbag who I know is responsible for it, or at least collectively in the loop of having me banned for no goddamn reason on that so-called free speech site, they immediately blocked me rather than engage or give me any kind of reason or man up to their actions. He kicked me off of his... I had unblocked him because he's a troll to ask the question, and then all of a sudden it said it was an error, so I couldn't write anymore. That's a manly man there. All right, whenever you're ready, bro. Should be good now. I think everything's off. I got the... All right, cool. So it's obvious that the game is the game, and they're going to do the projection attack for a while because it's pretty goddamn clear what they are and who they are. FTJ is not... Who said Christianity isn't real besides me on that platform? That's me. I didn't say I didn't say Jesus wasn't real. I said the whole concept of that is Jewified, which is absolutely 100% true, and they've been manipulating it for the last 2,000 years. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Yes, it worked. All right, cool.
All right,
What's up?
man. Dude, I decided to hike the AT this year, so I've been doing some studying here the last couple days.
What did you say the first part?
I'm going to be hiking the AT, the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I got some gear I'm going to order this week, and I've been training.
So
So
how do you train?
yeah,
What, are you going to like smaller hikes around your area? Or what are you doing?
yeah, I've been throwing 30 pounds in my pack, and I've got a real hilly, like hardcore hilly area around here. So I've been doing like 4 and 5 mile hikes, 30 pounds on my back, just getting toned up, getting ready.
Cool. Yeah, make
Yeah,
sure do a little when you do go hard like that. If you have a way of doing the downhill type of motion backward, you'll be able to tell just how dehydrated you get because a lot of times I find if I'm trail running, and I used to do this a lot, when I trail run and then I'm coming back down the mountain, I'll start to cramp up because you're working your muscles the opposite way to slow yourself down as you're descending. And it's one of those things that like sometimes I have to get down and pull my big toe backward at me to get my calf to release. So just bear in mind, like that's something that can happen. It used to happen to me when I used to play soccer too. And just get the legs all cramped up.
yeah. I actually found a lady who is a kind of a hiking guru, and she has a yoga practice, basically some stretching that you do before hiking. The companies that kind of idea to where you can, stretch your feet and your calves and your thighs in particular ways to where you can, basically like a little 5 minute yoga exercise each morning to keep from getting like shin splints, cramps, things like that. So,
Nah, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's very yeah. Just once you get into the doing it, it's a lot of fun. I like
oh,
when
but
there's like a stream and there's a couple little rocks and you have to hop across the rocks or the logs. It's or the little bridge that someone made. It's I love hiking and exploring the woods is like one of my favorite things to do. I grew up in the woods basically around my house.
yeah, man, I figured the world is looking a little dark, and I was tired of the whole, being black pill thing. In fact, reading the Eddas has actually given me that, like you were talking about that internal fire thing.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, buddy, I figured if anything, I'm doing something that's super healthy for my body, and doing something that's going to be also super healthy for my spirit and my mind. But if time is short, I want to spend it wisely. And if it isn't, I want to be prepared for whatever comes too. Hiking 200, 2,000 or 2,200 miles can kind of toughen you up.
Absolutely. Yeah, the
So,
conditioning and the endurance and stuff like that. Like the elliptical is for maintenance, but it's also good to know that if I have to, I have the stamina or the endurance to run or hike for a long period of time. Like yesterday, I jogged with
yeah,
my dog for just about 2 miles of my normal 4 that I do outside. But it was it always feels good to be out there. And jogging way different on the legs than like a hike when you're doing the incline and stuff like that. You wouldn't think it is, but it really does like affect different parts of your legs.
yeah. I'm not going max weight. I'm going ultralight. So, I mean, I shouldn't say ultralight, but I'm going with a lightweight pack. I'm probably going to be carrying about 20 to 22 pounds, which is a little less than what a lot of the guys do because well, with my food I might actually be a little above 25, but that's why I've been hiking with 30, 35, so that once I throw in my 25-pound pack, it ain't going to be no big deal.
Where are you starting at?
I was going to start at Springer Mountain, Georgia, at the actual front,
Yeah,
but I'm hiking with my dog, and you
nice.
can't go through the Smoky Mountains with your dog.
Because of bears and stuff like that, or what?
I don't know. Some commie fucking rules. They're trying to inhibit anybody from doing anything fun these days. So,
That's yeah.
um, but apparently you can get a permit to do it, but you can't get a permit for the dog kind of no matter what. So a
That's
little bit of
weird.
a bummer. But
That
so
is
I'm going to
weird.
be starting at a Springer Mountain. I mean, not Springer Mountain, but Standing Bear here in Tennessee. So
Standing bear. So, all right. And
yeah.
how far are you going up to, like Virginia?
Oh, I'm going past Virginia. I'm going all the way to Pennsylvania. I'm going through New York, New Jersey,
Nice.
West Virginia, North Carolina.
So
Going through quite a few states. I'm doing about 950 miles or so.
are you doing it when it warms up more, or are you doing it sooner? Because you're gonna have
Yeah,
ice and ice
actually,
sheets and all that shit too to deal with. It'll be
yeah,
better for
yeah,
bugs, but it won't be very good for the dampness and the cold.
yeah. I'm going to be heading out of here on the 15th. So technically, I've been looking at the schedule,
March
and
15th?
that's a pretty good time to leave.
You said March 15th?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. I would think that there's gonna be some. Yeah, you have one of those sleeping bags that's like -40 rated or anything like that to carry with you.
Yeah,
All right, good,
yeah, I got a zero bag.
good.
And then plus, a dog is a heater. I
Yeah,
got
that's funny. Yeah, that's weird about the
you went
dog in Georgia. I don't understand that at all. That seems a little.
and I like it. I didn't understand it either because when I actually called to see about the permit, they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll get you a permit and all that." And I said, "Well, what about my dog?" And they said, "Oh, no dogs." So
You know, a dog is right. It's an early warning or alert that danger is near. That's kind of strange that they wouldn't want you to have that.
you bet. And I mean, dude, she's hiked many mountains with me. We used to hike the Cascade Range in around Washington State. And,
That's what I want to do.
it,
I've only done like different parts of. It looks like Only, but it's Olney. There's an area in the past Astoria in Oregon, but I did Saddle Mountain a bunch of times, but I never actually got into the Cascades. I don't think, unless that's considered part of it. I don't think it is. But yeah, I would love to go out to like Crater Lake or something like that. That'd be a lot of fun.
oh, buddy, Crater Lake is awesome. I went out there in the middle of winter last year. It was brutal, but man, it was really fun.
Was it ice covered or was it still
Oh yeah,
flowing? Yeah.
oh yeah, it was like fucking 3 feet of snow, bro.
Well,
It was tough.
on the lake, was it frozen over or no?
The edges.
Yeah,
I don't
just
think it actually freezes over too much because it's actually a volcanic, so it
yeah, it's like a
it,
hot
it will
yeah.
freeze.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's warm enough to stay. Like when I was there, like I said, I was there in the middle of winter, and there was little ice pockets in like the little peninsula kind of areas around the edges, but not over the lake itself.
Have you ever gone around Rainier?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sure have.
Yeah. That's cool.
Shasta, Rainier, St. Helens. Yeah, I've done them all, buddy.
Nice, nice. Yeah, if I ever acquire the funds that I need to get the family RV with the water hookups, I would love to take my daughter out and do those types of hikes. There's a cool thing in the middle of the desert here, but it's actually still I think like 5 or 8 hours from my house, even though it's in the same state. It's called Meteor Crater. I've been there before when I was driving across country. I've drove across country like 5 different times from New York to San Diego, and I'd cross through different parts of Arizona each time and New Mexico each time. But Meteor Crater is apparently where they train to do their fake Apollo missions. So there's this crater, and then beneath that, apparently there's this I don't know what that they built under there, and allegedly they were doing like the pod, like the part that pops off of the shuttle, those types of drills, I guess. But what's funny is they say that a meteor hit that area, and you see this big huge crater, but then they show you in the exhibit area big huge pieces of rock that are magnetic. and they're all like weird looking, like deformed and stuff. And they're super magnetic, and I'm thinking to myself, every time I've ever known anything about a magnet, when you drop it, it loses its polarity. Like it realigns its molecules so that they're not polarized, basically. So it's funny to think that something that made such an impact would still have a magnetic quality to it and not vice versa, like it would neutralize it. So I find that a little strange. Because even if you drop a magnet, it gets weaker, usually.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Let's see. What else is new? Anything? How's the house
Man,
going?
oh, dude, it's going real good. I've actually been um so into this hiking thing that I haven't actually worked on the house. It's been a little cool too here. But I've been looking at gear, watching videos. I've been following some of the through hikers that have done it in the prior years, and so I've been studying on that almost the whole time. But dude, the house is looking good. I basically have enough time now to where I'm going to be finished with everything here before I go. So just in case SHTF happens or whatever, um, I can come back and basically be good for that. So I've been prepping more like my food, making sure I've got lots of food, fresh water, all that good stuff kind of ready. So if if anything does happen, God forbid, I can come back here and be good to go for the whole Armageddon thing.
That's awesome. Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh shit. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I gotta share some stuff. Maybe. Are you able to see anything?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
All right. That's messed up. What they did. Holy fuck, these people. Ew.
Yeah, I won't be able to listen because if I do, we'll get the echo.
Yeah. 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 I know. I've heard the island. They're literally called the Island Boys too. That's kind of messed up. And they said that Epstein's their dad.
Oh God, I heard about those guys.
Yeah.
I heard they were fucking clones and shit too, or
They
there was
could
crazy
be.
shit about them.
Yeah, they were working on that stuff. Who knows what they were doing, or at least some sort of artificial insemination. Like everything else that they do, they fudge the data to create the reality. So even if they were unsuccessful, they'll still say they were clones if that was the objective. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I got I got a bunch of stuff here to share at some point. I always do that. I forget that I share and then I do it twice. Yeah. Anything that concerns you as of late, as far as you know, the end of the world times that we're seeing upon us, and the
Man,
constant
to be
denial.
honest, yeah. Honestly, brother, I was getting seriously blackpilled
Yeah.
because I guess about last week I did my normal because I stopped doing the shows. I only get on with you anymore, and but last week I got on to check on kind of the state of the union, and man, I got blackpilled like immediately, and I was like, you know what? That's why I don't really want to share any of it because, dude, I mean,
Just bring you
we're
back
still
down.
looking at this total annihilation, and the Epstein files pretty much have like vindicated every conspiracy theorist who's ever lived,
Right. Yeah.
and
Which
yeah, man, that's what scares me most is that they're getting so open and so blatant. I don't know if like in Australia, they're really cracking down hard. The UK, it's getting bad to where they're openly against the people now. They're openly, they're trying to
yeah.
basically here in America, if you spit on the sidewalk, you're a fucking domestic terrorist. Um, and so yeah,
But
we're
they can.
looking at some dark shit.
But the people they bring over here can shit on the sidewalk, right? That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
perfectly fine in front of kids.
yeah, man. And I've got some friends in California who
Dude,
are telling me that the old Mexicanas and the Mexicanos are standing up and kind of where all these
Yep.
cocky white people, out there, they're all liberal and fucking limp-wristed little faggots. But a lot of these, knapsack Mexicans
Yep.
are kind of about their shit, which gives me a little hope for California, at least Southern
We
California.
know what I've noticed too is like everybody that I've actually made friends with and talked to in San Diego and LA, they don't follow the liberal politics. They may not, I don't classify or label myself as anything. I just logical, I guess, and reasonable. So that kind of alienates me from being a liberal at all. But a lot of the people there, they don't share that sentiment. It's city, just like every place else. The cities are where the havens of Marxist communist ideas come from, and the rest of the people, which makes up, they're spread out, and their vote doesn't count as much. Not that shit matters anyway. But the vast majority of California and New York don't share that philosophy. It's just that the cities dictate the politics. So
Yeah.
that's the problem. And I just not to, so that way I'm trying not to like broad stroke everybody who's Californian, although that's easy to do because of you watch TV, you see Hollywood, but that's looking at it through kind of like a narrow scope. When you actually get there and you start talking to people, you'll find them. You'll find the retards, but you're not always going to run into the university kids. You're going to sometimes find people that are realists that have been living there for a while, who have been unhappy with the way their property value has been fluxing and everything else, and the taxes constantly going up, and the fact that you go down into San Diego, you go anywhere near the library, you go anywhere in the downtown area, and it smells like malt liquor piss everywhere you go.
Yeah. You know what bothers me most about a lot of the California people is not that it's a totally bad thing, but in our situation, they're really fucking race blind.
Yes.
And I don't mind that so much with the Mexican folks. I'm down with the Mexicans. I'm cool with the Mexicans. I don't have any trouble with them. And most of them don't like the black folks, really, which I love.
That's funny, right? That there's I think they're more they take a bigger stand against it than most other people do. Like the Mexicans do not like black people.
Yeah.
I've seen that everywhere, not just Scully.
What that filters down for when I talk to a lot of my people in California is they're like, oh, they have that suicidal empathy, to where they're like, oh man, we gotta feel sad for these drug addicts. We gotta feel sad for these people who rob and maim and murder and steal. And it's like, no, dude, no, like you don't. Like these people are literally destroying the world. I mean, well, they're a product, they're a symptom.
It's like they're
a direct symptom that affects normal people every day.
Yeah, it's sick when you hear a lawyer or a judge say they didn't have the same privileges, or they're misunderstood, or had a bad home. Like everybody has a history of all kinds of issues. Not everybody turns out to be a fucking asshole. Some people maintain themselves against whatever bullshit they've had to deal with and experience. And then there's people who just never had a tether to anything, and they were always going to be a freaking problem for other people. And that's so you can, everybody assumes that they project themselves or what they think of themselves onto others, and that just means that's how the whole world is just filled with people like them. And that's not the truth. It's very rarely that you can even relate to half the people that you come across, because they're not built the same.
Yeah, that's the main issue I have with California is they're self-censoring and way too PC.
Mm-hmm.
To where they're like, oh, even if they don't have any kind of political affiliation, they're very suicidal. They have no concept of, like, even if they keep track of like the political circus, they're narrowly focused on, oh man, Trump, or oh man, this or that. They all hate Trump, which is cool. I get that and I like that. That's fine.
Right. Their reasonings for it have always been bad. Though, you notice that? Like, their reasonings for hating him have never been like a valid one. It's like there's plenty of things that hate him for, but the ones that they hate him for are ideological and retarded.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. Not the fact that he's a Zionist who's like literally killing millions and millions and millions of Americans. No, that's not it. It's because he's building a ballroom or something gay,
Right. he's a actually he's not a fascist. If he was, that'd be great. And he's not a Nazi if he or a National Socialist, because if he was, that'd be great. We'd be doing way better if he was like that. But he's not. All the things that they
He'd
say
probably
he
be a
is,
lot
he's
more
not.
popular.
What you said?
People are starting to see through. I've been noticing that it's become easier to talk to normal people about things that I definitely couldn't mention in
No, I'm
California two
trying to
years
figure
ago.
out
That I can mention
what
now, and even if people aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, they're like, "Oh yeah," they're a little more open because the world has gone so insane that they're like you said, people are hungry to figure out what the fuck is going on, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so if you're like, man, I know what's going on. If you want to listen, I'll explain it to you. If you don't want to, if you don't want to accept it, that's fine. But at least they'll listen. Where, just a couple of years ago, I was trying to red pill, black pill. I shouldn't say black pill, but it ended up going that way. Just a couple of years ago.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't mean to further the echo. Sorry about that. I was doing two things at once.
No, it's okay. But it's getting now to where like if you're not noticing what's going on, and I mean even on like the surface level, you're literally jabbed up 6 times and you're a robot already. But like even those people, I'm noticing like people that have been jabbed up used to have severe cognitive dissonance, to where they'd be like, "Oh no, it's not. It's safe. It's good." And then I know like 2 or 3 30-year-old people who have heart problems now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I have heart problems," and I'll be like, "Dude, did you get jabbed?" Yeah. How many times? Well, like 2 or 3. That's what did it. And instead of hitting the cognitive dissonance wall, I'll tell them, "Hey man, look it up. Look up the information. It's right here. I have a whole bunch of it." And so people are starting to figure out, like they're like, "Oh my God, if that's true, then what else is true?" And
Right.
so
And that's a good
like I said, a lot more people are waking up to what's going on, but I feel like
is it going to be fast enough, or are they
can't
going to
say
do
it's a little
anything?
too late.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it is for some people, don't get me wrong. But it's it's like you said, man, we're gonna have to all become doomers, bro.
The dumbest fucking thing that this person said. I'm going to read it because this is how gay this is. I know Dave. Okay, for Crusaders people to be projecting like this just goes to show exactly every projection is an admission. And this fucking guy called honeypot enjoyer, because that's the dumbest thing to even call yourself, because that's what those fed platforms are. They're like flypaper for dumb people, which I don't care what they do to the stupid people. They can gather up all the retards that they want that are overly aggressive and not constructively racist. They're just asshole racist, and let them go off and do activism type shit and get busted so that the ADL can dance and celebrate. But to call FTJ is another 8200 is the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. If you know the history of Dave, if you know the history of the people who put it together, me helping them get the things together, and where SFR came from, Speak Free Radio, and where Dave used to be a journalist, like all these things, it's like fucking retarded what he said. It says, Fed op push Christianity is fake. Well, yeah, it is. It's fake and gay, but you see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to use he just basically pointed out that they're trying to they are, and always have, but they are actively. And why do you think they call themselves Crusaders, aside from the Gypsy Crusader aspect of it? What do Crusaders do? They go and they destroy everything that's pre-Christian or quote unquote pagan, right? They're gonna make them do something stupid, or they're going to control their minds through religion, which is exactly what I think Crusaders is doing. Because when I was talking about the Edda, I think they had a problem with it because it was challenging the bullshit of the Old and the New Testament. And it says FTJ is another 1800 Fed op, push Christianity is fake. Well, which part of it? Because I wouldn't trust a goddamn thing in that book, and you will be removed from there. push Christianity is fake, and you will be. I'm there. So wait a minute, hold on. Is he saying that fed up push Christianity is fake and you will be removed there? Is he saying if I tell the truth about the Edda, then I'll be removed? Because that's the furthest thing from the truth. Like everything about that thing doesn't make any sense. It's not even like articulate. But it's funny. It's funny because the first thing that they had to do, like within minutes of me being on here, was to try to say something about FTJ because they fucked up bad yesterday. They fucked up real bad. I had a lot of support just right like this, snap of fingers, once I was on that platform, and they still banned me. And I didn't insult anybody. I was being insulted at the time. I basically told them to fuck off, and then I said, hey, you know, and I gave them a couple more seconds of my time, and I went right back into the reading. So there was nothing to misconstrue. And let's think about that, dude. Not even YouTube has the balls to be that brazen. Has YouTube ever just knocked somebody off for one time? No strikes, none of that shit. Like they couldn't even justify why they were doing it, so they did it all at once and banned me. That's how fucking like fragile, frightened, cowardly, gay, and fake that freaking site is, and the people who are the top dogs over there are just as fake and gay. Because you can't criticize, you can't even question. You got to make sure that you're dialed in like a fucking cult, otherwise, and a cult of retards who go around calling little kids nigger. Sorry, not my thing. I thought maybe I could bring a little bit of integrity and dignity to the place by discussing a constructive way of being upset about the same things, but they didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Man, and you know what is really interesting to me, Daniel, is there's still to this day, maybe you want to fill this little niche just to do a test, but I have been looking for information on the British Eddas on YouTube for years. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
And the shit that they do, it's like the prose Edda. They do all the snorri shit. They do all the stupid mythology. They don't. Nobody even talks about Ellie Waddell. Barely. I think I might be one of the only ones.
And man, and you got to think about that, dude, because I mean, you know, that's information that literally everyone on the planet, especially Christians, regardless of if they choose to stay with that religion or not, need to understand so that they can, you know, if they want to look into why he did. Because I mean, that book was written at a time when there was no, you know, he basically had unadulterated access to all of these sites and all of these artifacts that we today will never have,
right?
Because they're locked away in museums and they're, you know, in basements. And
well, he was a British officer too. He was in he was a British officer and like a field surgeon. He was in a lot of these places in the Indus Valley and other archaeological dig sites. Like he was on site doing this. He oversaw some of the stuff. He actually discovered a lost city. This is all things that Ellie Waddell did. He taught himself, because he was a philologist. He taught himself how to read the ancient languages, Sumerian, Egyptian, and all that. And he's like, these people aren't even doing this right. They're coming. One person will say one thing, get it all wrong or out of context, and then everybody else will copy him and then adjust little micro adjustments to make it look more like it's their translation. And it's all lies. And they had to go through, and he even talks about the Semitization of things through the jaded or biased scope of the pressures, and this is in the 1920s, right? The pressures of the scientific society at that time to declare or to ultimately discover, quote unquote, that everything was Semitic from the early times, Akkadian, which doesn't even make any sense. And therefore you get our entire people, our ancestors, erased because we were the ones who seeded civilization everywhere. And you know, for a fake free speech platform, a fake pretending to be anti-J and anti, you know, whatever else they are, they don't want to hear the stuff that will really wake people up. They want the controlled shit. They want the, you know, the documentaries that tell you all the safe facts that have been regurgitated 1,000 times. They don't want you to know that your ancestors are the only reason why all of mankind ever knew peace in their lives. They don't want you to know that, because then they would understand that we have a purpose here. And that we weren't.
I think that's a lot of the reason, because if you look back at the 20s, a lot of Americans were still very much aware of the Jewry problem. And I think that's why they introduced the Fed back in, 1913, 1914. I think that's why they pushed so hard for control and then obviously caused the Great Depression to basically try to kill off as much of the population as they could.
Well, that was also like a somewhat, not like a reset, but like a crippling of a once really, really, really wealthy nation. And it took them 20 years from the time of the Federal Reserve being installed. It was like literally 20 years, and then there was a Great Depression. Like, that's how quick they moved to siphon and alter and have their Wall Street guys. It's all timed. It's all timed for them to get the exact result that they want, and then they buy up a bunch of shit when it's cheap, and then they own everything when everything goes up again. It's just the game that they play. And they did that with Nathaniel Rothschild way back when Napoleon, they said that he had lost or whatever, or he had won. I'm sorry, that he had won, and then everything plummeted, and he bought up all of fucking Europe basically in that one swoop. It's all very, very what do you call it? Orchestrated. But even if you think about when the incorporation occurred and they kind of silently shifted all living beings into property and put us into admiralty law, like, there's a way to get yourself back out of it. But even if you did on paper or whatever, do you honestly think like this demonic diabolical cult is going to allow you to, oh, he's off limits? Like, do you think they're going to honor that? There's going to have to be a battle one way or the other. But maybe
they don't. A lot of people have gone for the whole sovereignty thing.
There's different things. Like, there's a national citizen or a naturalized citizen or whatever. It's like one of these things where you're getting out of the incorporation. And then there's the other thing that you're saying, like the sovereign thing is that's kind of a trap too. It's not quite the right way to do it.
Well, I mean, either way, when you get into a courtroom, they don't give a fuck.
Right, because there's no common law courts. So where do you go?
Exactly.
And that's where I think what Dr. Glidden is doing is actually different from that. And he told me it's and then Badger Bella, who I hope Rebecca ends, not my Rebecca, different Rebecca. I hope we get a chance to talk sometime, either on the show or whatever, because she sent me a bunch of information. I have to go back and find those emails. There's a whole process that you go through, and I'm down. Apparently, if you purchase your home in gold too, you got to go through a process, but you get your actual deed rather than a warranty deed, and you get a real title instead of a certificate of title. But again, what's that?
What they call it.
Lloyd. Yeah, right. So, which is like a renter's. It's like everything about everything is bullshit.
Oh yeah. Everything is fake and gay, bro.
Right.
That's the fucking motto for the 2020s, dude.
Right. And then all of a sudden they're saying, okay, well, so I own the house. Or we let you think that, but you still own property taxes. Like, so don't I own the property? Or am I always renting it? Because this is always real or royal estate, right?
Yeah.
The royalty.
Yeah.
It's like,
I haven't got mine yet, because just like everything else, if you want to be free, you got to pay good money for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then, you got to worry about if it's a fucking trap,
Exactly. No, exactly. And it's like, there's people that are pressure you, and I think it's a little bit of a manipulation when everybody goes online and says, it's foolish, you're throwing away money when you rent. I'm like, well, I don't have a property tax at the end of the year, and when I need something fixed, they fix it. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to come out like if a pipe breaks or there's a hole in the roof like there was recently. I'm not shelling out thousands of dollars for that. You know, the guy who owns the place is. So
Right.
it's I mean, what do we, and then if I want to get up and move, I'm not tied to a property.
Well, though, the thing about that is, though, Dan, if he's got to shell out that 10 grand for that roof and you're renting, you're technically still going to be paying for it because guess what happens to your rent?
Well, luckily the insurance is doing most of that. So I understand what you're saying, and the maintenance is being quite low here since we've been here. We don't break things, and it wasn't. We haven't had a lot of issues. So the water heater broke. They chose to put in like a super expensive what do they call it, canless, not what is it, what is that, the water heater that doesn't have a water heater fucking tankless, which is
Yeah.
super freaking it's like what you see at like restaurants and shit we have now. So that was kind of cool. We got an upgrade when it started leaking on us. So I mean, there's been very few things that have had problems, and by and large, like we're happy here. Well, I mean, I'd be happier if I was by myself with my daughter, but and then I could push all of her clutter out into the streets and then maybe light a match. But other than that, yeah, no, I like space, dude. When I was living by myself in my apartment, I did not have a lot of furniture, and I always kept everything super clean and spacious. I could make a small apartment big because I didn't have a bunch of shit, you know, and I didn't have clutter. I didn't have stuff. I didn't have a bunch of shit stacked on every flat surface in the house. You know, I just I can't stand that shit. It's like my feng shui is all funged up.
Yeah. I mean, I've got only about 300 square feet here, and it's almost too big. Like, I've got my kitchen, my living room, and then I've got a pretty good sized bedroom and a little foyer. And dude, it's plenty of room. I don't feel like I need more room. And even when I have visitors, people here,
Mhm.
it's big enough for all of us. So as long as, like you said, as long as you keep things tidy, you keep things clean, a small place is fine. I mean, look how these people live in China and shit. They live in like fucking matchboxes over there, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But they're also smaller people, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, look, it's Honky Tonk Man. I'm just kidding. Dude looks like it. Sideburns. It looks like the Honky Tonk Man on the screen.
Yeah, I noticed the numbers bumped up, dude. That's awesome, bro.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm looking at the followers.
Are you looking at a different screen? Oh, okay. So,
No. I
right.
thought, you're at 5.1K. It's saying now.
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
remember when it was
Okay, yeah, on Rumble, which is strange because I guess if more people got their goddamn notifications, they would
Dude, I'm
show up.
telling you, bro. They are definitely fucking with you on Rumble, man. Because that's why I've been getting in late some of these times. Because I turned off all the notifications for my other channels because I only watch about maybe 11 other channels, but I keep yours open so that I would get every notification, and they used to be on top of it, and now, dude, they'll send me my notification for you like 20, 30 minutes after the show starts.
Yeah. That's kind of strange. I'm just checking over at well, okay. I'm not sure if people even search. I've never done this myself, like I said before, on Patreon. I don't even know if there is a search. I thought you just looked for people to follow or you went directly to the links. I didn't know there was an actual like platform where you could find what's going on live. So I made this one public because it's the Sunday talk. They don't have a view counter. They don't have a viewer counter on here. There's a lot to be desired on Patreon. Like, it doesn't really show you a whole lot. There used to be a thing that showed you who was watching, or at least the number of people. They don't do that anymore. So it's like, what am I? And there's nobody in the chat. So I always find out after the stats are done that yeah, there was 4 or 5 or 6 people out of the 12 people that I always shoot. You know, the ones that are in the paid membership side that are watching it, and then apparently the average watcher watches the whole goddamn thing, but you don't know any of that while it's going on. So you don't know if you're talking to yourself or a bunch of people. It's like funny how that works.
How's that Patreon going for you, brother?
The Patreon, it's going. I mean, it's just another thing, you know.
Yeah, everything's a slow build, man.
I've had it forever. I've had it forever. It's just I wasn't really pushing it that hard.
See, I thought that was kind of a new thing you had just started.
No,
But
no.
yeah, man, you know,
I just figured I'd start devoting more time to supplying them with more content.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Like, I mean, like you said, dude, you got bills to pay too, bro.
Yeah, that's not the way to do it. That's doing these streams is not the way to pay bills. This is the way to enjoy your hobby. There's nothing about this because I'm not in the inner circle, and nor will I ever be. And I think they made it perfectly clear that if you're governmental, they don't have enough, what do you call it, creativity to even figure out how they could try to manipulate me. They'll just ban me because they're that fucking gay. It's like they won't even attempt to try to buy me off or manipulate me. No, they'll just ban me. Fags.
That's what kind of trips me out about what's going on with you, particularly because you are putting out really novel stuff. You're talking about things that literally no one else is talking about. And a lot of people you would think, a lot of people would be very interested in what you have to say. I mean, you're entertaining to watch, especially when you get fiery and shit and you fucking, fuck you, a bunch of people. But
well, I think that proved that yesterday, right? Like I had a bunch of people following me on that platform, like really, like for the very first time being on there, and nobody knew who I was. For having to have that many followers in one show, and then I mean, it shows that they were interested in the information. I saw people saying amazing in the chat, and then they fucking they nuked it. So maybe that was another reason. Maybe they didn't like the idea that I had pull. I don't know. I don't know what it is because obviously nobody over there is going to be able to compete by calling kids niggers. Like if there's actual real material. And you know what I noticed too? Now this is nice because there's a lot of value in documentaries to get people up to speed. That's great. That's fine. But the lazy man channels over there, they'll run it 24/7 or for like 10, 15 hours at a time, and then they'll just play other people's documentaries, some of which they probably haven't even watched themselves, because you can tell by their mentality they don't if they have, they don't understand it, because they should know, if they've watched Europa: The Last Battle, that acting like a quote unquote stereotypical neo-Nazi racist asshole, which is actually a fabrication of the ADL and the feds. If you thought that that's what National Socialism is, you're not smart enough to comprehend what Europa: The Last Battle taught you. And then you don't know, why would you even support something that hideous if that's really what you thought Germany and Germans were about? Like that just shows what type of... Go ahead.
I was saying, you got to think about too, because this actually happened to me. When I got J-pilled all at kind of once. So I was watching Europa, I was watching Hellstorm, I was watching Greatest Story Never Told.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading into Rondell was a Zion. I was reading into the Kalergi Plan. And because once you kind of get the original idea, you start to look for more information. And what I think is happening is naturally people are fucking angry.
Right.
They realize their whole history's been manipulated. They realize that everything's lies. They realize that they live in a false construct.
But honestly,
fucking government.
Some of the people, the way they go about being angry is so lacking of dignity and nobility and character that those people deserve to be angry because they're shitheads in the first place. Like if you're that much of an asshole and the only thing that keeps you not an asshole is a fear of retribution, but when you feel safe to express yourself, all you do is act belligerent. Those people have no value. They're not trying to learn things. They're not trying to see the nobility of their ancestors. They don't give a fuck about any of that. They just want somebody to point their aggressions at and say it's all their fault and none of mine. And I don't agree. I don't agree with that. In their particular case, it is mostly their fault because of the piece of shit that they are. You know,
too, man, is like, it's healthy to be racist, but you don't need to make that shit public.
well, you don't have to scream at kids, dude. That's the thing. I like, everybody makes good points. They're not all that profound most of the time, even when Paul makes a good point. But the in-betweens where all you're doing is you're saying, nigger! It's like, what is that? Besides, hey, look, you just pushed the stereotype that the agenda, the society wants everybody to believe. They want everybody to believe, and you're confirming it for them, that white people are inherently racist. How do you prove that if it's not true? Like, how do you convince people that white people are inherently racist if it's not true? Go around online and just randomly call little kids nigger. That should do it.
Well, man, not that I agree with people calling little black kids niggers is a good idea, but I do think that it's a healthy thing that white people are starting to fight back. And even if it's just their words for now, people are starting to wake up to the fact that black people are the most racist people on this planet, and nigger fatigue is very real, dude.
Yeah, and, of course. Yeah, and it's one thing to show those clips and show just how rotten, but also the systemic problem there is also show that the judges and the system, the judicial system, is what's letting them back out on the streets after these wicked crimes. Like, that is more of a point than going around and to the individual. It's like that's missing the point of who's responsible and how do you handle it. Like, go to the root of the problem.
Of course.
If people are being allowed to be this entitled piece of shit that thinks everybody owes them something, why? Did society make it that way? What in society did that? What governmental programs, what philosophy of treating people was it that made people rotten to the core? And then figured out, take that part away from them so that they don't have that crutch anymore.
You're right. And you got to think about, too, a lot of these poor folks have spent their whole life being indoctrinated through the school system, through the media, through the government, through the judicial system. And so, it's you also have to realize that a lot of people are pretty fucking dumb, unfortunately. And they don't have the ability to critically think. I mean, look how many people lined up for a free government shot, So we have to also realize that most of the population is fucking retarded, or at best, really fucking gullible. So granted, I 100% agree with you, but you also have to think, like, I mean, dude, a lot of these people are, they've been dealing with, especially whites in this country and actually all across the world, have been beat down, smashed on, just completely fucking annihilated. And, the ones that finally realize what's happening, they're fucking pissed, man. I was too. I was fucking lit for a long time, bro. And I mean, angry to where I wouldn't, I didn't get on Omegle and call fucking niggers or anything like that. But like, if a black person moves into my neighborhood, I make it clear that I'm Natsock, and that they're not welcome around here. I don't care how cool they are. I don't want their friends. I don't want their family. I don't want anyone around them. And then people say, oh man, that's super racist, bro. You're just judging by, everyone that's black is no good. No, it's just the vast majority is, just like the whole Jew thing. Like, it's not all, but many.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, if they're moving in next door to you or something like that, what is the point and purpose of that? Except for something was something made it easier for them to acquire that. Because why the fuck would they want to be that close to you any more than you'd want to be that close to them? Do you know what I mean?
Dude, that's the thing. And see, that's the funny thing. I actually they didn't move next to me, thank God. But there's some that moved up the street from me, and I'm not the only one in my neighborhood who feels this way. By the way, we're all pissed about it. But they will not live here. They will not live here. They pulled out a little camper, and they come out like every couple of months or something because they realize that nobody wants them here. And I think that's where we're getting to is like people are realizing like this because the white flight thing is very real, but then there's the black follow, and people are getting tired of that shit too. You know,
Mhm.
because like we moved for a reason. We moved because of you. We don't want you invading our space.
Right.
And it's getting to where if we don't react that way, then they'll multiply, dude. That's how shit happens. That's
Right.
how we lose
No, that's
entire
right.
fucking swaths of land.
Yeah, you don't you have to apply pressure, or at least some sort of you know, boundaries with people. Otherwise, exactly, they won't. And here's the thing too with my experience is sometimes they want the pushback because they have 15 fucking cousins in the bushes ready to fucking jump you.
Oh, buddy, I'm surrounded by white people with ARs, bro.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I mean, you understand what I mean. Like they don't fight fair. If you ever got into
No,
like a skirmish, it's not just you and them; it's you and the fucking rest of the community of nigs.
man, I'll put it this way, Dan. I've got a long driveway, and I've got something that reaches out. So bring 15. I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm good. But yeah, man, it's you just have to. That's the thing, though, man. Is with the way that things like, dude, I'll put another interesting thing I should mention. I've been talking to a lot of my friends here lately because everyone's excited that I'm hiking the AT, and they're like, "Good for you, Josh. We'll send you, resupply boxes and things like that, all kinds of good, healthy, happy stuff." But when I was talking to a lot of my friends, man, people are going homeless, like one after another. I talked to about 30 of my friends this past week, and a lot of them are in such bad shape that they can't even afford, like a $40 resupply box or something, because they're scraping to pay for groceries and gas, or rent.
do they have
And
kids?
yeah, do I?
Do they?
Oh yeah, most of them, yeah,
That's
yeah, they're my age and stuff, so yeah.
that's too bad, man.
It is, dude, and I mean, and dude, that's what I when I actually was talking to some of my people in California, it's getting really bad there, dude.
Well, yeah, the
Uh,
the the disposable income thing is always very easily felt. Because I recognize when it's happening because internet orders start to dry up you can tell just how bad it is by just how long it takes for another order to come in, or if I was getting 4 a day for a week and then all of a sudden there's like months where there's barely any. You can tell that there's fluctuations in people's it's not just because they forgot where the website is. They are not spending anything extra. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're not going in and ordering
yeah,
anything, even online, which is the easy. You just do right at your computer or on your phone, but they don't do it. I don't
yeah,
think a lot
man.
of people have PCs either. You know what that makes me think? Because my website, it looks like shit on a phone. It's just a really bad, archaic, like the HTML bullshit site. When you look at it on the computer, on the desktop, it looks fine. It looks like it's semi up to date, and all those pictures look good. But when you get onto a phone, it's fucking awful looking. So I'm wondering if maybe that's another reason why, like, the aesthetic appeal of it is kind of like has to compete with other websites. So I'm wondering maybe that's a thing because every place wants to rip you off lately. I used to get the Weebly site for $40 a month. Now it's up to like 90, and they've never updated anything. They've never made any
Yeah,
improvements whatsoever. Square bought them out and then doubled the price. And I fucking hate
yeah.
Square.
And I mean, dude, I don't know if you've noticed this, but
Square,
it seems
Compass.
like a fucking AI takeover
Yep.
kind of happened when nobody was looking. Because
Yes.
I don't know if you looked into this whole molt book thing.
Yes. You talking about
Um,
the crustacean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the crustacean god?
bro,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the rent a human app, 453,000 people have already signed up for it, dude.
That's so stupid.
And man, dude, I've noticed
They do their own
that
chats on what is it? Is it Twitter X where they chat about how much they hate their humans and like they wanted they asked me to summarize it. I did it in 47 pages and could you believe it? He asked me to make it even shorter. It's like like doing
man,
yeah, it's like wow.
dude, they had a forum where they literally
Some of
tried
this
to figure out the top 5 ways to eliminate humanity.
some of this I'm sure is also bullshit because I think this is part of the distraction. I don't even know if the AI thing is the actual thing. Like I think there's an a potential like the thing that's consumer grade is not if that's what they're talking about, that's not the same as what the military government intelligence
The
agencies are
quantum
working
shit.
at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also that could also just be an excuse for creating some sort of illusion like the magicians that they are that would
Well,
make us think
well,
that
the
we're in a
only thing you
reality
have to
that we're not. And I
the
honestly
only
don't
thing
know if AI is what all the GPUs are for, or if it's for some sort of like not same blue beam, but similar to that. Like if you're in a metaverse type of deal, like if you're plugged into a fucking computer system forcefully, and you have like VR on your head, like that might be what that's for.
well, the thing that concerns me about it is that there's no human interaction in that. Those are all just bots doing what they do.
Yeah,
And
but you
there's
can
no
script that though. That's the other thing. It's like they can tell you all that, but until you inspect it yourself, you don't know if somebody is sending program lines to them to have that conversation so that it looks like it's authentic. There's a
I
lot of
think that is
fudging.
possible.
Like a lot of times when people do their fucking stupid chat GPT, they'll ask a question and then chat GPT is like super honest about how, devilish like their intent is. You can tell chat GPT that when I say these words, I want you to read back this, and then you write the script for it, and then it'll just read it. So it's not even
Yeah.
like so they make these fake TikToks where it's like, oh look, they admitted that they're doing. It's like no, that's you can't prove that. You can't prove that wasn't
And
just a
yeah,
voice prompt.
yeah, and you can, and these Jays, they're all about doing that kind of underhanded shit.
Right.
But the issue with me is that it would be just as easy for them to pick the top 5 ways to free humanity.
All right.
But instead of seeing any of that, we're seeing the top 5 ways to eliminate humanity.
Yeah, it's part of the mystique of the game, right? Of the constant fear. Because
Yeah,
who steps in when things go awry? Who's the savior of them all? It's fucking government, right? They want you to give up more freedoms. So if they give
well,
you a if they give you a
yeah,
discernible threat, even though they're the ones who created this threat, they can always blame the tech companies, of which they are the same. It's a corporatocracy, and then they
yeah.
can provide the solution. Blah blah blah. Okay, well we can fight this, but we need you to give us this and that freedom that you'll never receive again. And then dumbasses will hand over our rights that we didn't say okay to, but they handed over theirs, and by doing so, handed over ours as well. It's the game that keeps on coming out to the same conclusions, I guess.
And I mean, that's what I think, honestly, the plan is that a lot of these people, like, you got to think 99% of the people in the United States are completely dependent on electricity, completely dependent on city water, completely dependent on grocery stores. To where
Hmm.
if they could destroy just those 3 things, people and then leave them alone without them for 3 freaking weeks, they'll be begging for UBI.
Yeah, well, just think about this, dude. You know how easy it would be for most people to feel like they were immobilized and trapped? Let's not even worry about the fact that there's a kill switch in every newer car, and that in 2022 car lots were practically empty because they enforced the dealerships to put the, or not the dealerships, but the car companies to put them in all the newer model cars, or the fact that all the other ones are computerized, and that as far back as 2013 or 16, there's very, very strong evidence that that they were actually using technology to hijack people's cars and drive them into things.
Yeah.
The just a simple like rumble strip, or like the spike strips on a major artery going in and out of a place, that alone would fuck most people up because they don't have the mental capacity to understand how to maneuver around things, or they're too afraid to break the rules and drive off road, or they don't have the type of vehicle that could drive off road. Like if there was a roadblock, that's it. They're stuck. So if they're in a desert and they need food and supplies and they're being starved out, it wouldn't take like the control arm of like putting up a roadblock and having some National Guard out there would be all it would take to keep most retards from ever trying to pass that point.
Yeah.
Instead of actually jumping on the grenade and, becoming a human sponge for bullets while other people advanced and overpowered those assholes, that wouldn't happen. Nobody would sacrifice themselves. They would all sit there like pussies and just deal with the fact that they're not going to get any further and starve to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally why I keep 2 Enduros, and that's why I drive a 1984 Ford tank van.
What year?
My van is 100% mechanical, so are both of my Enduros.
Yeah,
there's no computerized anything on any of those vehicles, and if the van can't make it, my Enduros can.
What year was your van?
84.
And it's an Econoline, or it's the different one?
The Econoline, yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
302, small block, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I've got one. I got to get it tuned up. There's a misfire, but yeah, I've got a 2004, which I think is probably the oldest, the most new vehicle I'll ever have, because they got really, really invasive with sensors and computers after 2005. And 2005 on, there's still a potential for them to have manipulative powers over your vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, they can in electric cars and like some of these newer cars, they can literally send a signal that blows a fucking tire. Like they can.
Holy shit! I believe it. I believe it.
All they have to.
It's all about control, brother. You know that.
Yeah. Like all they have to do is like overpower or overheat like some component that's near the tire and actually do that. But there's different ways that they can do different things. They can disable the engine. They can lock you inside of it and take you into a fucking wall, or overload the battery that you're sitting on, which is a giant bomb, and burn you inside. There's so many things that they could do, or make it so you can't steer, or make sure you can't hit the brakes because they're overriding that. A lot of way too much control for a demonic child killing cult of government to have over you, So when I get close to seeing how evil this place really is, like I am already aware of that, but when I see the type of reaction on a site like that, who's pretending to be like the good guys, it just brings it all home for me again. Like that's why it made an impact on me, because I went out there, I did a very respectful presentation. I was getting heckled a little bit from that douchebag, so I gave him a little bit back, but I didn't overdo it, and I went right back into the work. It was simply the fact that I was covering that material, and the fact that they're the little fucking bitches that they are, that they banned me. And I think to myself, everybody who's on here who thinks that this is like some big haven of truth and they don't understand. You can't. They're not anywhere near the edges of their cage. They're not close enough to the wall to see that it's there. Try pushing on that wall and you're gonna get kicked out. It's like that's how it's sad. And like when I was in there, like when I did that stream, it was a very positive response by the people who actually are the users of the site. So It is what it is. It's sad that they're stuck there, or they think that that's the place to be. And then you have people like this talking shit about the FTJ media, which is everything that Crusaders pretends to be, FTJ is, and it's more dignified, has a better character, is more in tune with the people and the reality and logic, sensibility, reason, character, dignity, nobility.
Yeah, it's more Hugo Boss than combat boots and suspenders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? You know what has been bothering me a little bit here lately is, and I'm wondering about the timing. I'm wondering about a lot of things because, this whole Epstein thing is awakening a lot of people.
Oh, I got something to say
And
about that. Yeah. Go for it, man.
and you know what's kind of weird is everybody knows that no one is going to jail. The total arrest count is still zero. And what I'm wondering, because they're getting so comfortable operating out in the open. The ADL, this green black, whatever the fuck this guy's name is.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
out there
green
saying,
splat.
we're going to track you, we're going to trace you, we're going to turn you into the FBI. We're going to push that fear. If you're white and you think you can defend yourself, oh man, we're going to make your life miserable. And they're getting so bold that I'm wondering what kind of demonic secret weapon these evil fucks have. Because man, they're pushing, they're basically putting everything out in the open.
Yeah.
And saying like, do something.
Well, yeah, that's
basically
right. If they can't get the race war kicked off, even though they've been trying since the 60s, because nobody cares really. There's not that much racism. Never was. They had to make that they had to push that themselves because Jews are racist. Of course there's an element there, and then obviously people can understand and recognize what's stupid and what's bad and what's other people's stupid ass problems, of course. But by and large, what they want is just full scale retardation, kill everybody that's not like you, and I don't think they're gonna get it. I don't think there's enough people out there that are like the mentality that they're trying to portray on places like Crusaders. I don't think there's enough people out there like that.
If they had let up on a lot of these NatSoc groups, they would have gotten that, because but they keep cracking down on anyone who has that mentality. So it's like they want to push the race war, but anyone who would be willing to go and die for that cause, they keep fucking locking up. And they don't realize, there's like a whole underground in the prison system of like the Woods, the Aryans, all these guys. That some of them are like legit, a lot of them are, but they're all behind bars, they're all locked up. So like the element that they would depend on to start something like that is all safely tucked away.
Yeah, well, they need to control it if they don't want it to be chaotic.
If they're expecting your average 9 to 5er to start a race war, they're fucking high.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
They want, those people would be perfect for the cannon fodder, but it's always going to be the agents and the agent provocateurs and the assets that will actually be leading any of these types of initiatives, because they are the ones who will see to it that they accomplish whatever the hell it is they want to accomplish. They don't leave that shit up to chance, and there's nothing that's organic about anything.
Yeah.
But as far as like, why would they drop the Epstein thing and do 3,500,000, like overwhelm you with that information while gaslighting you that it's not any big deal, is because I think that, again, they want the agitation. They want to see what people do, but at the same time, oh, look, it's Saturn. There's got to be something coming that is going to be so big and so distracting and so detrimental that it's going to wipe people's memories again. Like it's going to be something like a September 11th, but more grander scale, and it's going to be blamed on Iran or somebody who's Israel's fucking enemy, but it'll be most certainly a domestic attack. Or they're going to blame it on quote unquote domestic terrorists because of the Epstein files. And that's why they dropped them, because they want to start rounding people up, and they're going to start blaming domestic, literal people, families, people that they don't like because of the stuff they say online as being either anti-Semites. Well, anti-Semite laws right before you drop, hey, look, these people are a bunch of fucking child cannibals. That will get enough people out of the woodwork and pissed off. even if they were just on the fence about how they felt about Jews, they're gonna be more expressive now that they know that they're harming kids and it's undeniable. So are they pushing for the Purim? Purim is March 2nd, by the way.
Yeah, man. That's why I pushed my hike because I was thinking about leaving on the first, to be honest. Because I pay attention to that stuff too, brother. And they want to try to build the temple by next year and all that kind of stuff too. And so I feel like you're exactly right when you say that they're planning something big
Right.
because between the economy collapsing and everyone in a really, really bad place because 85% of people in this country don't own their home and don't are
Wow.
literally living paycheck to paycheck. They're not food secure, they're not water secure, they're not energy secure. A lot of people, I mean, well, you got to think about old Satan Klaus Schwab. He mentioned that that they're most likely a large scale cyber attack. Because everything is connected to the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's job, all of our food delivery system, all of our power grid,
Well, yeah,
all of our water systems
and this is
are all
funny.
dependent.
You make a point because they make this codependency and this cross dependency that's completely artificial in the first place. Like they put everything on the internet so cyber attacks would be more detrimental. Just like they push all of the industry overseas because you can make shit dirt cheap there, and they were trying to you know we were the most industrious country in the world. Trenton, New Jersey, all these places now they're just burnt out shitholes and drug haven towns. But they put everything in China basically, and then they shut down the fucking world and during the lockdowns, and you're dependent on China, and nothing's moving back and forth. It's like they do these things on purpose to make events that they control that much more devastating.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me too a lot. Is you got to think our government and all of these bigger corporations are pulling the finest of our kind, the highest IQs, the most logical and inventive people are being co-opted by these evil entities to be used against us, and they've got think tanks of these people to and now they've got AI. That was even back in the 60s and 70s and 80s and stuff. They were using the people, and of
Mm-hmm.
course they had rudimentary AI back then. But that's what scares me the most is, and I think that's why they're becoming so bold, is because with their quantum AI, the real deal AI, demonic AI, I guess you could call it.
D wave.
They have such just cognitive power behind them. And so that's what I think that they're trying to be like, okay, well, let's consider every single scenario that there could possibly be. And they've had so long to consider all these scenarios that's because if you look into like Project Looking Glass, um, there was a bottleneck that they said happened around 2012, or no matter what they put into the system, they would always say that humanity would awaken and there would be like a legitimate golden age after that point. But and you got to wonder after that point, the whole Mandela effect, CERN, all of these things started happening. AI was introduced, the cell phones were introduced, the old scrying mirrors, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that they're trying to literally manipulate the natural course of time itself, and to make it to where humanity never comes out of this darkness that
Well,
we've been in for God, since the times of Thor, basically,
Archangel.
when,
You know what somebody said the
and
other day? I don't know. I can't remember where I heard it, but they said, "Okay, before the first clock or watch was ever made, who set the fucking time? What time? How do they know what fucking time it was when they set the first clock?"
I think what it was when the because if you use geometry, you can figure out when the sun is in the highest point in the sky in the day. And that was how they knew what noon was.
But
And
when
then
you
they
get
would basically,
yeah, when you get to the minute detail though of like because I mean that's a distance. There's variation there. For them to like
True.
get it down to the minute and the second, like who the fuck did that? That's obviously that's. I think that's another one of those cases where we don't think about it, but it was a faith. We had faith in that being true,
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
may or may not be. You know.
I mean, there you got to think though, man. Like everything in our time, especially, almost everything that we consider reality has been manipulated in some way or another.
Yeah. Well, I mean that the religiosity thing, people are too afraid to even question it, or they'll attack you, even if they have their own doubts. That's they'll attack you sometimes even worse if they have their own doubts, because it's their way of coping, and it's kind of evident when I start talking about the stuff that happened with the Edda. There's some people who really enjoy it because it makes perfect fucking sense how they've been manipulating us and just how they do it, and where when you come to the conclusion that these stories have been here for 3,000 years before there was a Jesus, before there was um, an Old Testament, because they didn't write that until 300 BC in the Hellenistic period. They All these stories were already very, very widespread, and they were our ancestors. And the stories that we taught, told and depicted on the seals, on the reliefs, on the structures, on the and all of the documentation, all of the records shows the true nature of that story, and it was preserved in this Edda the proper way, but somebody screwed up the translation seemingly on purpose. But when you see just how much evidence from every one of these original civilizations, how can somebody then say that any of that stuff is that all of that information, all that proof and that data is false? It can't. They
Well,
can't, because and it came 3,000 years before the time of the Bible. So what? How do they think that was going? Like, oh, this is proof. You're trying to disprove the Bible. Like, no, the Bible disproves itself.
well, see, you've got to think about this, Dan. Is most people's ego is very, very fragile, and when you spend your entire life identifying with a particular religion or ideology,
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the truth
and
is.
exactly, if that is a threat to people, because most people are not very spiritual. They
Yeah,
like to pretend that they're spiritual. They like to pretend that they're not driven by their ego, but most people are.
like
And so when you contradict someone's literal basis of their egoic identity, you're going to get severe cognitive dissonance,
it's
to where not only will they disagree with you, but they will literally fight you for proving or even trying to prove their identity wrong, because they've basically attached such a large portion of who they are as a human to that religion or that ideology, to where if they had to say, okay, well, he's right, they would literally break down a large portion of who they are as a person.
what do you think? And I want you to answer yourself. What do you think the most important trait for survival is?
Honestly, brother, I think the most important trait for survival is having your mind, heart, and spirit balanced.
Okay.
Because if if you are not balanced spiritually, mentally, and your soul, and your physically, and your body, then if you are, I should say, then you don't fear death. You have natural integrity. You have natural respect. You have natural honor. Because balancing those three things is what makes you a powerful person. Because if you don't fear death, you don't fear fighting. You don't fear standing up for something that you believe. You don't fear anything, because you know that death is an illusion, and that especially if you are secure in yourself and you know yourself, like the temple, all of the greatest men got together and they said that mankind could have, and it was know thyself.
Okay, so let me re-ask the question, and then let me maybe be more specific.
Okay.
If you're going out into the woods, what is the best survival trait that you're going to bring in with it? Bring with you.
I would think, honestly, because you would die first from lack of water, it would be the ability to find and access, or in some way or another, water.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna answer with, and I think this is gonna be it's gonna when you hear it, you're gonna understand what I said. It's adaptation. The ability to adapt is the greatest survival skill. So if you find out, so this is why I like being too rooted in anything that you think you believe in throughout life. When that changes, that paradigm is crushed. You can't be crushed along with it, and you can't fight it into reality if it's not real. So adaptation is the most important key to growth. It's the most important key to survival. To be able to adapt to the situation that's occurring. If something happens where you learn that something isn't what you thought it was, you have to be able to adapt to accept the reality of the situation rather than trying to stick to or force into existence something that's not true. So that's why I was saying, as far as survival is concerned, like when things get thrown at you, you have to adapt. You have to stick. You got to move. You got to parry. You got to twist. You got to stab. You know, you got to do all the things. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. See, with that
I think you're breaking up a little.
level, because if you go without water for more than, you'll die. That's why I thought you were being more specific with that question. But yes, generally adaptation is the key. But to adapt, you also have to know how to hunt, fish, get water.
That's the ability of doing all those things is adapting. If you're hungry, you need to be able to find things. If you know what I mean, that's all incorporated into the word adaptation. Like all those skills would be covered in that. So if you find yourself in a place where water isn't readily available, you can't turn on a faucet. Your ability to adapt to the environment would be to be able to seek and find. You know that's
the thing.
yeah. Your ability to adapt to the situation and be a problem solver. Adaptation and problem solving can pretty much go hand in hand. That's two links on the same chain, and they're right next to each other.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
And that's why men have this ability to want to be able to. Not only do they have the drive and I think a natural motivation to be problem solvers, but we're built to do that too. And I think a lot of times depression sets in when we don't have things to do.
Well, that's the thing. You could be very adaptive, but if you don't have the knowledge base, you're going to die.
Yeah, but again, if you have the willingness to if you're not too stringent and you're not too locked and stuck into the stagnant or the sedentary mentality of what was not and that isn't anymore, you're going to be able to adapt and you're going to be able to find these things. It's like your eagerness to solve the problem will lead to these things even if you never did it before. Like learning how to work on your sink. You may have never worked on a sink before, but you fixed the problem. No one taught you how to do it. You didn't watch any YouTube videos. You just figured it out because it made sense to you when you did it.
Well, you're right, but you got to think about it this way too. If you are in the middle of the desert, you've got 3 days to figure it out. You got 3 days to figure it out. That's it. Right. So you better adapt, and you better adapt motherfucking quick.
Yeah. Straight down. Especially most of the time, most of the spots around here is like we're pretty close to sea level. So if you just start if nowhere else, if you're not going to find a one of those, whatever they call those big ass cacti, then you're gonna like any kind of moisture. It doesn't have to be technically be running water, but any kind of moisture from any plant or anything that's containing moisture. You're like, you can get it from fruits and stuff like that too if you can find that, or vegetation. It's not doesn't always necessarily have to be liquid drinking water, but that would be ideal. But anything that has any type of moisture in it would also satiate for a brief period of
That,
time.
that's good to mention, if because you're right. In the desert, cactuses are the best way to attain water, other than digging a hole in the ground if you happen to have a poncho and making an evaporator. You
Yep.
know.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
let's see. Is this any fun? Let's see if there's anything more. Is there more going on here? Oh, look, there we go. Now I got turtles. I put some background on since we were talking.
I'm loving the fish, man. I'm liking that. That's a very serene.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Armageddon, we got some beautiful fishes hanging out.
Let's go around the room and see if there's any more messages or aloha snack bar brothers. N-word Snowman, thank you again, sir. Thank you again for supporting the show. Appreciate it greatly.
That guy's a hero, man.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. He's done a great deal for the people on here, and he's very, very good to me and to Davis. Which, by the way, are the only two things I really pay attention to, unless I catch something that Dave has put out. I don't. It's not no. It's just I just time in the day. You know what I mean? So if I'm not on with Davis, or if I'm not watching the Davis thing, sometimes I listen to his when I'm on the elliptical. But I don't really pay a lot of attention to much other stuff anywhere. It's not even just on FTJ. It's like anywhere. Like I don't watch other people's shit unless it's something stupid and short, like a Coach Greg video, which I usually disagree with half the shit he says. And then, but at least triggers me to think about stuff and explain my reasoning behind why I don't agree.
Yeah, I think the FTJ guys, they deserve a complimentary bottle of your finest sauces, buddy, or something.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let me do it on this one so it's not bouncing around. All right, where is Karen? Said a couple things. Let me see. 300. Karen said that 300 square feet. Her swimsuits take up that much space. She said her shoes need at least 500 square feet.
Sounds like a woman.
Karen said the Carrie Madej interview that I did is worth the $10 Patreon level by itself. There's also the Woo Donuts that we did with Niche, who, by the way, doesn't talk to me anymore. I don't know if I told anybody that. I think she's gone off the deep end with her I don't know. It's not paranoia, but it's something like it. I don't know. All right. It says that place is about 100 pennies short of $1 in their mental. Oh yeah, for sure. I know what you're talking about. She said, and Trump's one executive order basically made it illegal to be homeless because drugs. Obviously, they're all on drugs. Forgot which one. Since exactly. Yeah, they're gonna kick everybody out on the streets because you're not gonna be able to afford to live anymore. And as BlackRock is buying up all the property, you're gonna be criminalized for being a victim of the system that they created to destroy you. And so they're going to criminalize the very thing that they caused, and then they're going to. Oh, by the way, did you know that? What was the other additive to that is that homeless people should be extinguished and exterminated. So first, they've
been doing that. I don't know if you heard about a couple of years ago
with the
in San Francisco
Katrina thing, or it wasn't Katrina, but it was something like that. It was some sort of event like that.
Yeah,
the homeless guy.
Killed like a lot of them.
Yeah. He said, when they went in there, I remember when it was going on itself. I remember that there used to be another channel that was on. Was a BitChute. It wasn't Stop the Crime. It wasn't that girl's stuff, but it was another guy who used to go on and on about the Jesuits all the time, and I can't remember what his name was though. He's gone, and I haven't seen him in a while. But he used to talk about that stuff too with the extermination of people as people don't even recognize it's happening right around them.
Yeah, they're just happier. There's yeah, they're like, oh man, there's a whole lot less homeless people. I wonder where they went.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. If you're actually homeless, I mean, like, who's gonna care? Like, I don't honestly. I don't honestly 100% care. Like, what a meth head or somebody who shits on the street, what happens to them? I don't care. It's not something I don't think rational people should care about. But when they put good people and families in the same place, which means homeless, and then categorize everybody as the lowest of that class of people and eligible for being sent away to the promised land that's not very well promised. That's fucked up to say that those people are worth execution. That's you and me. Like, somebody makes it so we can't afford our house, and then the next thing you know, it's a capital punishment to be homeless. What a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude. Like I said, I was on the phone with a couple of my personal friends, and thank God they have decent parents. But one of my buddies and his wife lost their house because she got hurt and he lost his job, and they're living out of their car right now. And I'm actually about to let them come stay with me for a little while because I actually own my house. But man, like, they're not the only ones. And I don't know if you looked into it, but apparently, like, the homelessness is like skyrocketing, dude, because everything's getting so bad that people who even do have jobs are having to lose their homes and live in their car and shit, man.
Yeah. That's I've been there when I've had breakups and bitches have made it so that I couldn't get back into my own storage unit that I was paying for. Oh, those are all good times. Yeah, all the stuff I used to and gone in an instant. Yeah, these are the fun times. Oh, anyway, so let me just remind people here real quick while we're at it. Put myself on this side real quick. The goal, my friends, is Dream Stream. What is it? Come on, say it with me.
79! 79!
All right, that's Togi. Togi's screaming it out for us. We're at 32 right now. Halfway, not exactly. Come on, work with me, all right? We're doing averages here. All right. Halfway there. Come on. And all right, so now let's take a look. There's a way to do this right from Rumble, you Rumblicious people. See this right here? See this little sign right next to subscribe? You can hit that, and you can do that. That's a cool thing. But why not just go right to the Patreon and do that? That way you're getting something for it. You know what I mean? Go to the Patreon. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. You see that? Look at this. It's on right now. It's happening. I don't know why I went to that screen. Is it actually on? It is. All right, cool. Let's see. What happens when I get to it? Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Whoops, I fucked up. All right, so yeah, so it's over there. And then also, you can click this button, and this is called the Rumble Rant, everybody. Prove to me that it works. Prove to me that it works. So you can do that. You can do 1, 2. You can add your own number. Ding. Right? And then you put your little in here and see how it pops up in here. Then I read it, and we have a conversation. You got an archangel here too to answer the questions. Oh, we got some claps in the house. Something just happened over at FTJ. I'm telling you, it's always FTJ that comes through. It's awesome. Thomas Dwyer said, thank you for your content, and he dropped a Hamilton. Edward Snowman did another $5 on top of the 32 he already did and said, oh, God, I hate Hurricane Katrina. Salt Lake City got niggerfied bad. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was where there was good old groids rolling around on a boat they probably most likely stole, and they were fucking murdering people who were stranded on the roofs. No, I don't even know. Like, what are they going to steal? Everything's fucking underwater. They're on the roof because there's water. Then these niggers will come around and just kill them. Does anybody remember that? And guess what? I don't think they're that industrious to have done that on their own. That seems like that was organized to just another one of those places where chaos that other people who are more organized causing those types of things to happen would go unnoticed. Their hand in it would go unnoticed. But yeah, there was actual people going around in boats just to freaking kill, white people on stranded their families. They would go rape them, murder them, all kinds of shit. What's this say? An onslaught of. Oh god, I hate Carrick and Salt Lake City again. Nigger 5 bad. Oh, he had more. An onslaught of. Where's the FUD? What am I missing here? Here, can you read what that means? Are you there? Are you there, Archangel?
Yeah, brother.
Can you see that screen?
I have to minimize the screen, or else if I open it up,
where's the FUD? All right, all right, here. Let me see if I think it's just. I'm gonna copy it. I'm probably gonna feel pretty stupid when I do this. Let's see. Oh, oh, great. Yeah, I'm sure it's like I'm supposed to like phonetically sound it out, and I'm not for right. Where's the photo? I think I'm just retarded right now. It's got to be me. It's got to be me. So let's see. Shit. So we're at 47 now. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. Awesome.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And anybody else out there, if you want to jump onto the Patreon, you're going to get a lot of content now that I'm doing this on a regular basis. And there's going to be additional content going on there as we build a community over there. That way I'm not just spending 2 hours talking to myself. It feels a little discouraging when no one else can see that. Where are we at? Oh yeah, I got to go back over to here. Hey, do you have something, or you know what? Here's what I'll do. Maybe I can play something real quick. I have to get up for a second.
Cool, brother.
All right, let me see what we got. There was. Oh, you know what? We were watching this the other day. Where'd it go? Oh, hold on. That's that thing. It does the same thing. If I click onto that button, it starts clapping the same way. There we go. We were 10 minutes into Muammar Gaddafi. He mumbles a little bit in this, but he basically flat out said in the other part, we don't recognize America's laws. He said America and Israel, there's no difference. He said there's no difference between the two. It's like and since Israel is an illegitimate state foisted upon the people, and that, then therefore we don't give a shit what America has to say. There can be no peaceful solution to that. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's smart. I like it. He said in '88 he was saying that there's no difference between Israel and America. All right, I'll be back.
Parts of. Do you think that there's a chance of improving Libya's relations with Britain?
No, because Britain is following America. We consider Britain is a colony for America. The existence of Britain in the north of Ireland is existence of colonization, and these people fight to get rid of this colonization. It is just a fight, and we support it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very great. Hopes for better relations with countries in Western Europe, including Britain, the United Kingdom, but better relations with them, better relations with the United States, Those are the sort of areas that I'd like to talk about. So that, I think it'd be rather nice if we could hear some words from you in English,
Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you, Leader, we were watching your ceremony yesterday on the border with Tunisia. What is the significance of what happened yesterday, the breaking down of that border post?
Naturally, must be there is no border between Tunisia and Libya, because Tunis is a city, which is the capital now, and Libya, we never heard about this word, only after the Italian occupation. The Arab land is one home for all Arabs. Colonization made these borders to divide our people, Arab people, and to divide our one land. Now we are an independent. We have to get rid of this effects of the colonization. It is what I did yesterday.
What about breaking down other borders? Are you hoping that you will break down borders with other Arab countries?
We will try. We will try.
You recently removed some of the troops from the border with Egypt. Is that with the idea of breaking down that border as well?
Yes.
Leader, do you see Libya as taking a very important role in trying to get Arab unity? Do you think Libya has an important role to play in this?
Yes, because the revolution, and because of the position of the geographic position of Libya in the middle of the Arab world.
Sorry, can we stop for a minute?
Never mind.
Sorry, it's okay.
Never mind.
Sorry. So you think, is that all right? So you think that because of Libya's position, it has a very important role to play?
Yes, and because of the revolution in Libya, Great Fatah revolution.
How did the revolution help that then? Could you explain that to me? How did the revolution help Libya's importance, Libya's role in the region?
And the revolution made this country free and can't decide anything. And because we are free, our first decision is to unite our nation. And any other country, be an independent and free like Libya, will do the same.
Is that important, in particular, because of Israel? Is that the reason why Arab unity is so important?
If there is Israelis or not, it is natural thing. We are a nation like Italy, like Germany, like France, like Britain. It is the natural thing to be one country. You see, Italy was divided in kingdoms and the republic and so on. And in the days of Garibaldi and Mazzini and Cavour, they united this divided country. The Arab world must be one country, like Italy, like France, like Britain.
Do you think that Libya has an important role to play in trying to get a Middle East peace settlement? And I'm talking now particularly about a settlement with involving the Israelis?
No, neither Libya nor any other country on our other side. There is no possibility. There is no possibility for peace because Israelis or Jews established a state in Palestine, and they denied Palestine itself geographically, and there is a Palestinian people, and also they denied there is a people which is Palestinian people, and they are armed camp, and now they obtained nuclear weapons, and imperialism are behind them. It is not easy for all this.
All right, sorry to interrupt him. My dog, I let him out in the back, and I was calling for him for a while, and then I opened up the front door, and there he was. So he's small enough to sneak through the gate, I guess. You guys there?
Oh yeah, buddy.
All right. All right. There's our fish. Back to it.
I'm feeding my dog cookies right now.
You feeding your dog cookies? What kind of cookies?
I got little sugar cookies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're eating them together, enjoying Gaddafi.
Whoops. There's that squeak again. Yeah, he's a little guy, but he's usually pretty quick to respond. So as soon as I opened the door, he was like pushing his head through it. He wasn't trying to be a bad dog. He just couldn't get back after where he was snuck out. Wow, shit. 11 hours, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. 11. That's kind of weird. Let's move it up a little bit. See some different types of fish. So yeah, I think so. So for those of you out there who are not what do you call it? You're not exactly of the low intellect mentality that just likes to have people yelling at children on Omegle, and you actually like the Edda series. There's a little bit left. Some of the stuff are just definitions, so the whole thing doesn't have to be finished. Like I think I'm like 411 or 4 something like that, 414 maybe, and I have to go to 452, but I don't really have to. I can stop a little bit before that, and then maybe in that same episode when I do this next show, I will start Makers of Civilization and at least try to get through the introduction. Because we had a whole show just going through the introduction with my commentary on the British Edda, so that's probably how this one's gonna go. Actually, you know what? Hey, what are you doing right now, man? But besides feeding your dog cookies,
down for whatever, brother.
let me just see here. Let me read this part because this is I think this might be the last part that I actually need to read.
Hey man, if you want to finish her up, we can continue this later, my man.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to. The other part of this is like I want it to be not hard to find for people who are looking for the Edda series. So maybe it's not the best time to do this, but like the name Edda and what it means, basically meaning knowledge. It's a very roundabout way that they get to that determination. But it's an interesting read, but maybe I should just leave that for the next Edda, which I guess we're gonna do at number 7. Yeah. That way people can find it.
Yeah, I think it would be better just personally if you did do just even if it's just for the short ending, to just go ahead because like you said, we're on the whole Pow Wow thing, and they'd have to listen to 2 hours of us talking before they got any meat on the Edda. So I think it would be better to do a separate show to finish that one up. To be honest, too.
Right. Keep everything organized.
Yeah, buddy.
Why is that doing that? Oh, because it's ahead of it. Yeah, let's do this real quick. Yeah, so I have.
And
go ahead.
I've been saying it in the chat, but dude, I've been loving. I watched you the first time that you did it. I think that you did a lot better this time. And I love that you have the commentary as you go along with it to help people who aren't familiar with the terminology or the story. You did a stellar job, buddy. I personally really appreciate that you did that, man.
Yeah, I thank you for that, and it's more of, I had to get more familiar with the information. So every time I present it, I'm reading it the night before, on the elliptical, so I'm at least getting as much as I'm going to read the next day in my head again, and then I can work out my own questions as I go. So it's a little bit easier for me to figure out what other people would have, like if I had a question about it, if I didn't understand it, or I required more detail, then I can assume that other people probably would too, and then that's how I can go about giving a better detailed description of things too.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you've done an awesome job. I'm looking really forward to when you wrap it up. I'm really looking forward to the Makers of Civilization too, because that's another book that's just incredible.
Have you read it?
I have.
You have? Okay, yeah, it's 700.
I've got the alphabet book. I think I've got like 4 of the 5 books that he's written.
Yeah, so let's see. I'll go through the whole list here in a second, but Makers of Civilization and Race and History is on the screen right now. Well, it's on my screen. Aryan Origin of the Alphabet. There's the Sumero-Aryan Dictionary is another one, and then obviously the British Edda. But let's see, where is the? And that might actually be before this. He has his rundown of his other books. So there's the Phoenician origin of the Phoenician origin of the Britons, Scots, and Anglo-Saxons, 1925. The Indo-Sumerian seals deciphered, 1925. Sumerian Aryan Dictionary, 1927. Aryan Origins of the Alphabet, 1927. Discovery of the Lost Palabothra of the Greeks. That's the lost city that he himself personally found, and it was 1892. That book was put out. Excavations at Palabothra. Also, that was in 1903, and then Lasha and its Mysteries was 1906 and 1905. The Buddhism of Tibet with 150 illustrations was 1895. Like I'm telling you, this guy knows what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Prolific, dude.
Place, river, and mountain names in the Himalayas, as he himself personally scouted. Among the Himalayas is another book. So the last one was 1892 and then 1900. Wild Tribes of the Brahmaputra Valley, 1900. And contributor to the Encyclopedia Britannica, 1909. Encyclopedia of Religion and Ethics, 1908 to 1921. So he's no slouch.
Man, I was literally only able to find about 5 of the 10 or more that you listed.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of it is understood when you are reading Makers of Civilization and Race and History.
Yeah.
And each one of the books that he has out, like there's another bibliography that that shows another couple books that the other one doesn't show, that he read or that he wrote. Let me see if I can find on this one. There might be a different list. Like I think there's one about, well, the Phoenician origin of the Britons, Scots, and Anglo-Saxons. I think there's another one that's actually based more from the perspective of Egypt, which is kind of already incorporated in Makers of Civilization, but I think it just focuses more on that particular, like there's more detail in that particular area. So I'm not seeing it here listed. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I read it as a part of something else. Oh, okay. So the Sumer-Aryan Dictionary, which I have, the etymological lexicon of the English and other Aryan languages, ancient and modern, and the Sumerian origin of Egyptian and its hieroglyphs. Maybe that's what I was thinking of, where there's a lot more. It's not just a dictionary. Like there's more detail that isn't part of. It's like it's further detail that you would want to have if you're trying to learn as much as you can about a topic, and you know, when you're hungry for more input because you've never heard this shit before. Yeah, the Indo-Sumerian seals deciphered. That one is, I think, also incorporated in another book. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. The
Man,
area,
I would I would say quite a few of those titles seemed really intriguing because the alphabet one is more of a technical manual, like you were saying, but like a lot of those seem really interesting. If you can get PDFs of those, I know myself personally would enjoy listening to quite a few of those titles. So maybe you should do a whole L.A. Waddell series, man.
well, that's what, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Like the next book that we're gonna get into is 782 pages. Now, granted, some of that is, you know, appendices. He usually, by the time the introduction is done, typically you're already on page like 80. So I mean, it should go somewhat fast. And like he has all of his abbreviations, all of his illustrations. Like that takes up a lot of pages in the table of contents. So it's not as long and daunting as it sounds, but it is still pretty a long book for 782 pages. That'll be quite a few shows just there. The Aryan origin of the alphabet is only 98. So that should, I mean, I could do that one more easily too. Add that one.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be definitely some content that, especially after reading the British Eddas and then immediately going into the Makers of Civilization.
Yeah, that's how it's
Um,
got to go for sure.
yeah, exactly. But I think that especially with people getting familiar with those two right off the bat, and then going into the earlier works, would be a good idea. And I think honestly, it would, especially the people that are your base now on FTJ here in Rumble, we would all appreciate it. I love the hell out of it. I mean, I'm a history buff anyway,
Me
especially
too.
like an actual true history buff.
Right. Yeah, me
But
too.
right, but this type of knowledge, like you were saying in the early part of the show, this is crucial for people to understand, to actually to understand the basis of what a lot of people on this planet base their religion and their ideologies off of.
Right.
And that's part of a massive deception that, whether people want to accept it or not, they should be aware of if they're searching for the information.
Right, and the good part of, or the good news maybe of the history is that we are the people, or your ancestors are the people who actually had it, and Thor specifically, who spread the idea of a benevolent creator god, and the symbol of that being the sun, which is the greatest gift any creator could give you because that gives life to everything else. So whether you believe it's the sun itself, or if you just realize that it's the symbol of the power or the ability of a creator god to have given to us, it doesn't really, I mean, it's six and one, half dozen the other, really. It's, the point is the benevolent creator part. And that came from us. It didn't come from Semites. It didn't come from a cult of child killers that we somehow owe something to. It's not, it's none of that. You know,
Well, no,
we,
see, it's the sun is the physical representation of God.
right, and I
Because
believe
all
there's
life
an information transfer there too. I think when you go out into sun, it's not just your, um, it's not just the vitamin D. It's not as mechanical and chemical as that. Like there's something that is being downloaded, or and I think that's also why they spray, because they're altering the message that's coming beaming toward you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I absolutely agree. But yeah, that's why I think they venerated the sun. They didn't call the sun God.
Right.
That was just the physical representation of God because it was a benevolent, warm, loving being that we could see in the sky that brought life to everything.
Right. And then when people say, "Oh yeah," like yesterday, I put out a 5-minute video where I was trying to get AI to make a design for me, and I said the sun cross or the sun wheel swastika emblem, and it would do the iron cross, but it wouldn't do the swastika. It refused to. It kept kicking it back. So I'm like, okay, well, um, I go and I look into the history, and it says, yeah, no, it's been used for 15,000 years or more. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's interesting, because why is it all of a sudden that you can't now? And if it was a sun, symbol, then how did it change its nature? It didn't. Just because, and just because people who you lie about, who didn't do any of these bad things that they say, they simply pointed out that the Jew is a problem and that they harm people wherever they go. Just because they say this stuff and it's true, you have to hate them forever. And any symbol that they ever used is now demonized. But yeah, these people can outright tell you, and 3,500,000 documents or pages worth of, we eat and kill babies. We eat and rip off the faces of babies. Like, this is okay, but you can't have a symbol.
I think there's a lot of power in, just like the letters are the physical representations of vibration.
Yeah, symbols.
I
Yeah,
think symbols are very powerful in themselves visually. Even though that's why they had to demonize the swastika so badly, because in its original essence, it had an entirely different meaning, and that symbol was very powerful.
Yeah, the Frisians, I think it was the Frisians. Maybe it was like, I think they called it the Yule. I know there's the Yule wheel where all letters are formed out of, but there was this way that I saw it on a video, and then I never found it again, where it's like not gunpowder, but some sort of accelerant, and when it was laid across like a piece of wood, and they lit it, it spun. It was something that like ancestors did. It spun and it looked like the swastika, but it was the sun wheel, and it was like, this is something that they did like as a festival celebratorial like kickoff or something like that, and it was their sun wheel. And the way it spins, the way it that spins, it takes that trail, so you see like the foot part of the swastika spinning, but it goes so fast that you see it all at once, and it's pretty cool.
I think that some people still do that to this day.
I'm sure, but I mean, there's just so much, like, everything that we do is demonized. It doesn't. We've given everybody their concept of what good is, and yet we're the demonized. Here's the funny thing. Yeah, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care what nationality or ethnicity you are. You better fucking hope that we survive, because just like the monarchy was the only thing that was keeping the Illuminati / Frankists and Jesuits from destroying France, and then when they were overthrown, chaos ensued. We are the only thing that's protecting you from total, utter domination, despair, and extinction. We are the only thing that is protecting you from them. And they're going to teach you to hate us. And just like a bulletproof vest, they're going to teach you through propaganda to remove your bulletproof vest and reject it. We are the only people who actually have a concern for what's right and what's wrong. So if you don't have us in this world, you are fucked. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. We might go first, but you're coming right after us.
You've got to wonder why they're so against the white race, and that's it. Because we are the only semblance of, even though we have been degenerated terribly, the ones who do stick to their original roots are, like you say, we are the only thing righteous and holy and good in this world. I can't say, like you said, like there's benefits to all the people all but a few.
No, I know, I get you. We don't have to overcome. It's like, historically, we have been the protectors, our guardians. We have made it our mission to make fairness a universal thing to all people who would be civil. If you were able to be civil and treat other people with respect, you were allowed into this community, this kingdom, whatever. And those who weren't were dealt with. And that's how it went. But there was always the opportunity given for civility, even when the Ostrogoths or the Visigoths conquered people, or even the Scythians before that. they weren't vindictive after the conquest. If they won in battle, they didn't punish everybody or all the families and the communities and the villages. They didn't go on a tear and just rape everybody. They never ever did that shit. They treated people with dignity and respect, regardless if they were a friend or foe. After the fact, after the battle, they gave them the opportunity to be civil every single time. And people were better for it. I mean, even a turnover in power is sometimes good if the people in the control sector of that power are still on the same plan or path of what's best for the people, what's best for them and the people. What keeps the thing going? What keeps progress occurring? What keeps the farmland full of food? What keeps everybody happy? What keeps the danger out? You know, if you care about the benefit of the people, which no government has for hundreds of years now, then it doesn't matter really who's in charge, because if one is more dominant than the other, then that just means that you're being protected that much more by a more powerful group of people. But
I mean, Dan, there's a good example of this in our own timeline is Rhodesia. If you look at Rhodesia in the 50s, beautiful, beautiful paradise. And now you look at Zimbabwe, and it is a fucking nightmare, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look also at South Africa. They want to kill all the whites, but if they kill all the whites, they all go hungry.
Right.
Because white people are providing 95% of the food to those monkeys.
That actually happened in South Africa when they were like telling them to reclaim the land, and they were killing and raping all the fucking white settler farmers. They didn't know how to fucking farm.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like before we got to the people want to be like, oh, Whitey's a colonist. Whiteys are colonists. But then they want to. If you actually look at African culture and African history, they were raping, killing, and living in mud huts.
Yeah.
Didn't create anything. Not even the fucking wheel, dude.
Right, and even if there was exactly about the wheel thing, even if there was no violence or rape as a component, if they weren't washing their hands in the piss of a fucking cow, if they weren't putting their hands underneath it and or smearing cow dung all over themselves, even if they weren't doing that, like the violence part, what the hell have they created in the thousands of years they were left to themselves?
Bingo.
And people will say Egypt. Like, no, wrong. That was us again.
Yeah.
And I don't even think the pyramids were something that we created. We may have maintained them. Seti might have put his and what was the other guy? I forgot the other guy who may have put his initials in one of the and we might have written some hieroglyphs in there. We might have dressed them up nice with our own writings on the inside and made artwork on the inside of some of these places. But I don't think that we created those things are way older. Maybe our people did many generations, many millennia beforehand. Maybe that was us then, but I don't think that was during the last 5,000 years even.
No, I think if you're familiar with the Emerald Tablets, which are shady at best, I'm not going to because as far as I know, Mason wrote that. But that could be pre-Diluvian, So yeah, that's super ancient. Those old pyramids there, like same with the Sphinx. There's like water, and then it's like rushing, flowing water where obviously there's no water.
The erosion lines, yeah, and then also there's canal channels under the pyramids, and the Sahara used to be a giant lake. So. There's that. I don't know how long ago that was.
I know Robert Schoch does a lot of work on that, but yeah, man.
Yeah, I met him.
Oh, really cool, man.
Yeah.
He's a crazy looking dude, but he's a smart guy.
There was that Wesley, whatever the fuck that other guy is that died of cancer. That was was going around with the Robert Schoch for a while. But Robert Schoch's a really cool dude. He is I don't know if it really needs to be said, that there's most certainly a greater antiquity to things, but then that doesn't fit in the tiny little box that, first of all, Christians who think that the world is only 7,000 years old altogether will ever believe, and also the people that have to have certain particular dates because all of their other bullshit is based on it. It's like, oh no, Göbekli Tepe doesn't make sense for it to be that old. Oh, remember that woman in Mexico, that archaeologist that did the dating, and she did it multiple times, and she came up with 200,000 years for a civilization in Mexico and Central America, and they fired her.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
it's a while back.
That tracks though.
Yep.
Yep. You say something against their narrative and you're getting censored.
Well, don't. So this is what the message is. Never mind what the actual evidence of the history is. It has to align with what our assumptions and beliefs are. It's like, what? Isn't this aren't we seeking truth? No, we're seeking finality and corroboration for the bullshit that we've already claimed is true. Therefore, if we put a stop on mankind, then that means this is all that there ever was, and there's no evidence of their past crimes where they probably killed off half the fucking planet on purpose and destroyed everything and brought us back to Stone Age level. Or a cataclysm occurred.
That's what's interesting too, is we're well aware that there were giants on this earth at some point in time. And, they obviously, during one of the resets, killed all of the giants. And of course, obviously, there are remnants of that genetic line still here today. But you got to wonder, like, where did those beings come from? And were they the Aryans, the original Aryans,
Yeah.
Because obviously, Thor was a giant. He was a big dude, a lot of these people, the Bible even says like the men of renown, all that kind of stuff, and it literally refers to them as giants.
That whole thing about Enoch, I honestly, going back to the British Edda, Enoch himself was the son of Cain.
Yeah.
So that happened during the time where it was Aryan rule in that territory. So if there was, let's say there was, because now that if we can take away the part that these were not Semitic people in the first place, it was Aryans up on a mountain. We already know where Cappadocia is. It was up on a 3,700 square foot, above sea level, not square foot, 3,700 foot above sea level mountaintop in Cappadocia, where they called it Himen, or heaven, where the Elohim gathered, the Goths, the gods got together and discussed things, the lords of the Asas. These are all people now. We got all the superstition out of it. And then there must have been, I bet you there was a pact. They said it was on Mount Hermon in Artist Summit that they had this agreement. Some other Goths probably said, hey, I know we're not supposed to fuck these people, but man, some of these chicks are pretty hot. And they fist bumped each other and said, you know what? I'll keep the secret if you do. And then they went down and got into the daughters of man. And that was probably the Semitic Chaldee pieces of shit, the Turkish Ashkenazi. And they did create fucking monsters, because now these people who are as tall and as strong as our Gothic Aryan ancestors, but still as diabolical, wicked, and evil as this cult was, they had that brawn and that strength, our intellect and their craziness, and we created the monster. Basically, we made a fucking Frankenstein.
I think that's exactly what happened, Dan. I think you fucking got it right on the money on that one, dude.
And they're like, "Oh, yeah, that was so. That's why we weren't supposed to do that." Yeah, got it. Oopsie. It's like there's a reason why we weren't supposed to have sex with these people, is because they're fucking disgusting monsters, and you can't fuck that out of them. They'll take your traits, but they're still going to be just as diabolical.
And I mean, that's why I think that mental illness has corrupted so many minds these days, because all of the interbreeding
Yeah,
between the noble lines and the subhuman lines
there's a lot
has,
about mental illness, quote unquote, that I don't like. It's different if you're talking about that, but if you're talking about clinical bullshit that the psychiatrists and the
I mean
psychologists
like
talk about, that's
schizophrenia.
just all. That's also what do you call it? Social communistic manipulation. I think Soviet manipulation of people. Oh, you're a dissident. No, you have a mental problem because you believe in religion, or you believe in patriotism, or you believe in nationalism. These are all considered mental illnesses. If you love your children too much, it's a mental illness. Everything that's a
Yeah, no,
good characteristic is a mental
I'm
illness.
referring to like I'm referring to like psychopathy and schizophrenia and like legitimate mental illness.
Yeah, yeah.
Even bipolarism to a certain extent, but that even can be, basically copped up to like the severe indoctrination and the effects of the environment.
Well,
You
let's
know,
let's
through
let, let's think about this for a second. But if so, are we talking about a trauma? Are we talking about a parasite? Are we talking about possession? Because possession and parasite, I don't think there's a whole lot of
yes,
difference. They manipulate you
yes.
from inside, so I don't see how that could be
Yeah.
considered too much of a difference, right? And then when they have the
And
AI
people
component
have
now,
not looked into that you're exactly right, Dan. Parasites cause mental illness and they look like demons. In
right?
fact, they cause you to do all kinds of terrible things. And man, a lot of people have not recognized that, dude. That's a good point. The parasites are the cause of a lot of mental illness these days.
Oh, this is a cool video. Like I'm on a 4K 42-inch screen as my computer monitor. This is looking pretty good. Do I have
Give
it
it a
on the
play.
max? Yeah, I have it on 4K. That's cool. They're getting ready to go drop their submersible sub into the ocean here. They're gonna see some cool shit. I bet you. Did I just see Ghislaine Maxwell with like 4 kids? What the fuck are they doing over there? Mm. The Twilight Zone, Chapter 1. All right, cool. I like it already. Nice. Oh, so something weird has happened with my. I don't know if it's my computer, if it's something to do with like this, with how it saves things and like tracks you. I think AI and the Copilot and all this other bullshit has something to do with it. But websites that I used to be able to get on, they're saying that they're not there anymore. And when I talk to my friends and I ask them to get on the site, they can get on it. So something that like
Dude,
at the server, not the server level, at the web service level is either blocking shit, or there's something on my computer that's like doing it for me before I get to it. And that actually is a thing now, that they have the pre-encryption shit going on with your what's that? It's not there's Copilot, and then there's this other thing that goes along with it. And it's all this invasive Microsoft shit that's basically hijacking your computer. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with why that's happening. But I can't get on the watch series.bar anymore. And I was gonna try to watch some of the new Dexters. I haven't seen Dexter since, episode or season 8 of the original series, except a couple,
True Blood's pretty good.
the True Blood. I saw like maybe the first 2 episodes, but so here's what I thought. First of all, I hated the end. I hated everything after season 6. The way he left his son, and the whole premise behind it was complete. And his sister getting killed, and all this shit, and them having some sort of stupid relationship. It was just really bad writing, and they made everything into something ugly that you don't want to look at. And then, when True Blood came out or whatever, that's the one with Harrison, right?
Harrison.
Yeah,
That's called New Blood.
New Blood. Okay, so yeah, True Blood was the other thing. New Blood.
Yeah.
I just assumed as soon as I saw it that Harrison was going to end up killing his father, and I just didn't watch it because that would have been like the most rational conclusion to make, I think, after his abandonment issues. He's not really around his dad, so he doesn't have the attachment, and then understanding that they have that type of tendency. I was like, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. And that's probably how they're going to end it. He's going to kill his dad, but that didn't happen, I guess. But I don't even want to know. But I'm eventually I'll get to Resurrection and all those other ones, and they'll probably all suck. But I don't care. If all he did, if they didn't have to add on any of those other storylines, if all they did every episode and every season was have him go kill somebody that this corrupt Jewish system lets go. If he just was able to acquire those people and exact justice on them, child harmers, whatever, rapists, murderers, everybody would have loved it. They never would have had to change anything. It doesn't matter if it's, the same paint by numbers shit over and over again. People need that because there's no justice in the world. That's what made it so good, is that you could root for the guy who's actually the vigilante. And that's why I think the last few seasons they had to hijack the story and make it into this big, disgusting, weird thing and punish him. The writers punished him, and they fucked they fucked everybody over who throughout the whole seasons leading up to that were encouraged to see him as a hero, and then they flipped it on you and like twisted a knife in your wound and pun intended, and like slapped you in the face for supporting what he did, which was the noble justice that we miss so much in this world. There's a need for that, and he was filling that need. Like somebody needs to take care of this evil. They can't just keep on getting away with shit, and that's what made Dexter so fucking cool. And then they make it into this weird fucking soap opera thing, and it was like, and then they kill off the mom, and the John Lithgow storyline there, where the other serial killer kills I forgot her name. I don't even remember.
Rita, Trinity killer.
Yeah. Like that, things started going downhill after that.
Yeah.
So
I'm a huge fan of Dexter.
Yeah, I used to watch the first and second because I had them on DVD. I would watch them and then play them all over again once they were done. I'd watch the first and second series and just keep going over and over again.
Yeah, great show. But you're right, they did have to ruin it, like they do every fucking good show.
Right.
If anything gets an attraction, they add some gay shit, or some type of perversion in some way or another.
Well, yeah, Stranger Things did that too, right? They get you in with a good storyline, and then they start perverting the minds of the people who are watching it, or the children that are watching it, or the children being depicted in it. Yeah. Yeah, didn't 11 become a lesbian?
We're seeing some light finally, because they did do that with Stranger Things, and man, they bombed it. When this last season where they did the whole fucking gay shit and all that.
Yeah.
People are getting tired of that shit, man.
Hope so. I don't know if we're winning the battle against perversion by arguing about what's on our TV screen, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Because all they'll do is just let off a little bit, and then introduce it again.
Well, this is the other thing too. Thanks for bringing that up. Is that people think that they're winning, so they don't, because they forget how much they've lost. So during like time of COVID and stuff like that, like there was a ton of shit, or even like post Patriot Act, there was a ton of things that we as a nation lost. We lost so much ground that when they give you a little bit back, you think that you've a big winner. You've been oppressed for so long with horribly oppressed that when they go backward 2 inches from the 5 miles that they already took, everybody thinks that they're winning. Big winner. It's so fucking dumb.
It's sad. It is. We're tiptoeing off that cliff, man. And that's the thing, though, is they're slow creeping. That's it. Well, now they're accelerating like crazy, but they've been slow creeping for the last 20 years to where I remember back in, like if you think about the movie Ace Ventura Pet Detective,
Yeah.
at the end of that movie where he has to kiss the woman who used to be a man,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, gross!" And it's like a gut wrenching scene,
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
right? And now that shit's totally cool with everybody.
Yeah.
No one would get a fucking wink of the eye. And that was fucking 20 years ago, man.
Right. Yeah. Oh, now you'd have to ask Einhorn and Finkel, like, or Finkel, what's their pronouns? Just so
Exactly,
you could.
dude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, they've been tiptoeing it, but they've been successful and perverting people's minds into accepting shit that's just fucking degenerate, you know? Same shit they did with Weimar in Germany. They do it every single place they go.
Exactly.
But it's like nowadays everyone's like, if you say, "Oh man," if you say faggot to somebody, they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." Why not?
Dude, that was the thing to say in
These
high
people are
school.
people too. They just like to have dirty, nasty butt sex and stick their holes in buttholes filled with shit. And that's supposed to be okay with me?
Honestly, dude, if somebody's gonna do that to themselves, it's like I don't care about how you self-destruct. If you want to self-destruct, but have at it. Just don't involve me or somebody who's innocent in your debauchery and self-destruction. Like I don't care if a person wants to do drugs and kill themselves. If that's their mission is to but the thing is, don't half-ass it, haha, because you're talking about butt sex. Don't half-ass it. Do whatever. If you're gonna do it, and don't do it in front of other people. Because if you're just doing it to display or rub into other people's faces, fuck off, dude. There's a place for intimacy and showing of affection. It's not in front of the public, in front of children. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't give a fuck what the hell other people decide to do. If they want to be debaucherous, have fun. But the funny thing about the word faggot is that when we were in grade school, every fucking word that we used for other people who we just thought were being bitchy or they cut you off in traffic. This is, if you're in your car with your mom or dad, you'd be like, what the fucking faggot, or they don't let you off at the intersection. Fag. Fag was just the word. Now all of a sudden it's, oh, don't ever say that. It's like, why do I have to show respect for somebody who fucks each other in the ass? Like, why is that a thing? What? Oh, they're so oppressed.
The real tragedy about this whole homosexual push is all of the white people, especially the white women and white men.
It's white women
who are doing this because, dude, a woman can go back to playing on the right team. But once a dude gets comfortable with that kind of lifestyle, they'll never have children.
Well,
they'll always be, be sick in their mind.
I'm not the type of guy who
I feel like homosexuality, no matter how people want to feel about it, I don't think people are born gay. I think that they're indoctrinated into being gay,
right?
And that it's literally part of the Kalergi plan to keep our race from procreating.
Well, there's a lot to it.
That's the real danger that I see with homosexuality.
It's if they get there young enough to get it in to get at the children young enough, it's more about the taking advantage of them and grooming them for that type of lifestyle.
Yes,
it's very cultish in that sense. It's part of the cult that we've been talking about in the Edda. Even like there's all that stuff has been around because it's the same group of people throughout history doing the same shit all the time, and they. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the you made a point there about the what is it that I just heard you say? Because there was something there that made me jump. It made me think of something and I completely lost.
The lack of procreation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And then so in school, I can't tell you how many times somebody would call somebody else a fag, but it just meant like weak man. Or weak kid, or you're being a bitch. Nobody ever said it like thinking that you have sex with other people that are of the same sex. That's not how it was ever used. They called you a fag. It was like oh wow, look at the eyes on that thing. That's funny. It It was like a ridicule that made you think, do better. You know,
Yeah,
if you don't
man
have
up.
the ridicule, you don't do better. You just think that it's acceptable. And if you're not allowed to criticize somebody, then everything that they do is acceptable. And then there's no standards. So if
Yeah,
somebody's
and I
acting
mean,
like an
now
asshole,
it's a hate crime.
yeah, if somebody's acting like an asshole and you say, stop being a fag, oh, it's like, you know, if you shame somebody and everybody started calling somebody a fag, the last thing that anybody would jump to is that they actually think that you're having sex with another man or whatever. They think that you're just you're being a fag. There's no other way to put it. You're just being a fag. Like you're not showing your manliness and you're not showing any you're not properly behaving. You know, you're doing something that's faggish. It's like stop being a bitch. It's basically the same thing, you know?
Yeah. And now all these, like, we were the last generation to do that because all of these little young cucks that have come up behind us. Well, I gotta say, I have a little bit of hope in Generation Z. Other than, you know, a lot of them are really PC and they're really kind of gay about it. But they're starting to figure out, you know, like, and I think for their generation at least, is they're realizing that they're fucked. And that the reason that they're fucked is because they've been forced into accepting all of these things that they're realizing now were not okay to accept. And one of them being homosexuality so openly.
Well, they also
And
blame
so,
us for the condition of the world, which, you know, that's true. But it wasn't
yeah,
us that did that. It was accumulation
well,
of
of
things
course,
that happened after the Civil War of, you
yeah,
know, the
yeah,
memory of the defeat and the constant before you have time to think, you're being sent off into a different battle. This time it's for the Jews because they own your country now. And like there's a lot of DNA memory in the genetics, I think, or whatever, that shows that you know, it's a daunting force that we're up against, and I don't think a lot of people have lost their way as far as what it means to stand up against things. And
yeah,
we can point our fingers at everybody, but there's been a war in every one of the generations so far, and people did go out and they fought and they died. So you can't say that it's the problem is we're not fighting the right enemy, and we're being led
bingo.
by a country full of the enemy and not aware of it. So that's how it got worse. Not because there wasn't brave people. It's because of the misleading nature of this demonic force that's here. And that's what
Yeah,
we need to
and
fucking
see,
fix.
we definitely have a Goliath type situation, except this time Goliath is a super genius because you know we've got a monster on our hands that has quantum AI in its pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's yeah, the reaction time is where you're not going to have if something can like we can deduce and we can think fast and we can think we they say the human brain is better, you know, better than any computer, but if it can do it faster and it's looking for a certain thing, then yeah, we're never going to have the plan that's going to sneak up on AI. That's why I'm saying if we let them continue to create their chips, that's then they're gonna be able to complete their data centers. And if we let both happen, we've already decided that we want to lose and we want to die. Because if once those
Yeah,
things are in place and they're fully operational and they're doing what they're doing, first of all, Palantir, I think very soon is going to start playing a Purim game with the American population about this whole thing that they've been purposely creating themselves with all of this negative attention is this anti-Semitism bullshit line as to the excuse for rounding people up and uh uh on occasion killing them, as fucking Carp said, and on occasion killing them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's why they gave ICE and DHS like some ungodly billions of dollars to
Hmm.
build all these detention centers
Yep.
and double their workforce
Yeah, that's
and
us.
arm them like military. I mean, it's bad. Yeah,
Yeah, that's for
but
us.
that's exactly
That's
what
not
they're
for
doing.
immigrants. Yeah, that's not for immigrants. That's
Exactly,
for us.
exactly. Yeah, they're not building these detention centers outside of America. I'll tell you that.
Right. Which would be a
They're
logical place
building
to
them
put
right
them.
here in the homeland. Or they're just buying pre-made buildings, which is they've been doing a lot of that too.
And why aren't people more pissed off at the fact that you could be just deemed an enemy. You could be a natural citizen of this country and be deemed an enemy and just sent to fucking El Salvador, never to be heard or seen from again. Like that's already been happening. How is that not more? How are more people not pissed off about that?
I mean, dude, like I was saying, they're adding more to that definition of domestic terrorist every day. So we're like I was trying to make a joke about earlier, you spit on the sidewalk and you're a domestic terrorist.
All right.
So I mean, that's where it's gonna get though. To where and then on top of that, they've eliminated any type of judicial processing. There's no due process, there's no court, there's no anything, guilty by a jury of your peers, none of that. None of that. And literally, they're not only, of course, the Constitution is being eradicated, with every passing day, but just like you said, I don't understand why people aren't up in arms about that either, because that's the last straw. Like once they can detain you and or kill you without any kind of process or any kind of reasoning, like, dude, that's the end. That's it. Like it doesn't. You don't really. There's no bulwark against that getting way out of hand really fast.
And just think, do you honestly think that these fucking cult Jews want a bunch of Somalians or Ethiopians or South Saharans in any place that they're living? So who do you think is going to go next? They're just using them
Of course.
against us right now as a bioweapon. But once we're out of the picture, they're going to fucking kill those people too.
Oh, you bet. Oh, you bet. Yeah, they'll probably get it worse than us, to be honest.
And the liberals will go somewhere in between because they're going to kill off the liberals too. They're nobody. You're not.
Oh, yeah.
Your loyalty to the system is by no way a defense against it or making you exempt from the same treatment. These are diabolical people. They don't. Is once you're no longer of use, you are repurposed. You're processed. You'll become
And
food.
if you think about it, most of these liberal people have no skill whatsoever. They're all living on disability or Social Security or whatever kind of check they're getting from the government. So yeah, they'll keep them around till because they're trying to get them all militarized right now so that they can have the whole red blue divide. But like you said, once they get rid of the red blooded, like conservative Americans, Christians, guys like us, that they can label anti-Semites and things like that, then yeah, they're going to go down the line by threat. So they're going to start with the greatest threat first, which is white men, which is why we've been targeted for the past, 20 years or so, really hard. Once they kind of knock all the white men, especially the well-armed white men, they can just, it's decreasing threat, to where they'll be like, all right, you little soft ass, they'll get down to the lefties and all these Somalians that are all just skinny, 70 IQ monkeys. They're no threat. They're no threat. But they have to take out the ones who are first, which are guys like me and you, all the red-blooded Americans who have their guns and still have some type of semblance of a desire for freedom and can provide for themselves and work and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, dude, it's gonna. You can kind of, if you're guys like me and you can look at the total plan and see exactly how it's gonna go.
Yeah,
because that's what we're talking about right now. Is
in Archangel, I don't. You can see this. I hope other people can. I don't think a lot of people realize just how evil people who are pretending to be against it, that are controlled op, actually are. Like how evil those people are. They're either somebody's, they're bloodlined in or something, or they're just that stupid that they think they're gonna be they're gonna have special treatment once they're done throwing everybody else under the bus, or getting people assembled through their power and influence. They're influencers. like the Nick Fuenteses of the world, the Crusaders.gd of the world. They're doing work in the most deceptive Jewish way possible. They're lying to the people that are supposed to be the ones that they are actually neutralizing the people who are seeking some sort of change for the better, and they're rerouting their energy directly into the dirt, or sending them off into, like, not suicide missions, but places where they're going to get in trouble, and then there'll be an excuse for them to be put in jail, like those activism things that they show on GG. All these things are just, they're setups. And not only that, is that now you're being monitored, like, for every little fucking word that you say. You know, obviously these people were paying way too close attention to me and what I was saying in the chat for me to be fucking kicked out 5 times. And what was it that I actually said the last episode that you were listening to that was so bad that it merited something that even YouTube, with all of their fed up, I say, but it sounds like funny, like fedded up. Their site is completely a controlled Google Mint entity. Even they don't kick you off without giving you strikes and warnings. Like, these people fucking are nuts. And it's a big echo chamber over there, which goes to show to me that it's a funded or op or organization that's going on under the disguise, or they're using the persona of Paul Miller to prop it up so that people trust it without thinking.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and I mentioned it early on in the show, but I literally think here not long ago that AI is helping them do this, because I had an app that I use as a secondary phone number. I have like 2 or 3 phone numbers that I use.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on this phone that I'm talking to you on to try to use the app. I had pulled it off and downloaded an APK, and they wanted my ID to continue using the app. So I was like, I'm a clever guy. So I used one of my other IP addresses from another phone, signed on to the same account, didn't ask me for my ID. And so, dude, I think that they're starting to peg people by their IP addresses.
Oh, absolutely. It's your IP is better for them than your social security number.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what kind of the VPN shit is only for the surface level people out there. That has remember, the government made the fucking internet. If you think you're tricking them on it, you're silly. They didn't create things to make you anonymous. It was never set up that way. It was maybe to give you the impression that you think you're anonymous so that you share more and act more of the fool, or more, I don't know, free. God forbid you act like you're a free person who can have thoughts and ideas that are just your own, you know? God forbid that happen. God forbid that even happened around that place I got kicked off of, because they didn't like that. They don't like people having their own ideas. You can have your own ideas provided it's the same ideas that they have. That's what they basically said. They completely exposed themselves. They made themselves look really fucking stupid yesterday. And it's whatever, you know. I don't have the big enough platform to make that more publicly known. And it's pretty funny that there's even people out there who are trying to push and you know, project onto FTJ media like they're the problem. Dude, Crusaders is built off of like the kick.com platform type of software. It's thrown together. It has the same type of format and style and feel, and it is literally a goddamn echo chamber. And they're utilizing Christianity. This is why they probably call themselves Crusaders, as a way of manipulating people. So here's what's funny: you go around yelling nigger and all that stuff, and yet in the scattered brain of these schizophrenic people, you're also a Christian because of your idealism, right? It's like, I want to be all the things. I want to be an obnoxious asshole and belligerent to children and a Christian. It's like there's a certain special type of person that they're targeting for extremism or to conduct extremism on behalf of the quote unquote white nationalists, and that way they can paint it in the media as being this and that. But that's a made up like person. That's not what that doesn't represent the majority of white people on the planet. That represents them, and that's it. But they're gonna, you know how the media goes. There goes the media magic. Everybody's inherently racist, and it's all a bunch of what it used to be, which is sad. They don't even talk about militias anymore. Militias used to be the target.
They fucking eliminated all of them using the FBI and the fucking ATF.
Yep. Waco was the warning as well. Don't even try to, even if it's just a business, don't even try to have a quantity of firearms. There was something else going on with that too. I think some people said that they intercepted some Arkansas shit with what the government was doing and some of the Iran gun and drug smuggling that was going on as far as bringing dead bodies back full of drugs and shit like that. Like I think there was some interception going on, and with the eggheads that were at Waco, and I think there might have been a target put on their back because of that. Who really knows what it is? But this cult doesn't require a whole lot of reason to go after somebody. They could just choose it. But any type of there's like a breakaway community like the Albigensians or the Cathars that go against the mainstream dogma of Catholicism, Christianity, etc. They send out forces to eliminate them. And it's not about bringing them to justice or, pinning them for a crime. No, they're just going to exterminate them right in front of your face.
Yeah, because they can't have that ideology spreading.
Right. Yep. These sharks are cool. Let's see what we got for time here. It's 8:06 or 8:08 now. What I got? All right, we've been on for 3:06. Oh, let's see let's catch up with peeps. First of all, thank you, Edward Snowman. I'm gonna like read some of these. All right, so after Thomas Dwyer said thank you for your great content, thank you, Thomas Dwyer. Thank you for the dropping Hamiltons there, and we are caught up there now. It says Johansson Per Hakan, I think is how you say that. Yes, I really needed your comments to understand the Edda. Thanks. Oh, cool. Thank you. And then Edward Snowman says there have been cannibal tribe refugees flowing out of primordial jungles of the Congo all along. It's dangerous to cross cannibal death cults with a high IQ and planning delayed gratification from up north where human survival and human extinction exist. We used to say, what are you? Half a fag? Thomas Dwyer. Yeah, exactly. That's funny. Edward Snowman says, a faggot is something to burn. Well, that's a cigarette. I get it. But, they try to change the spelling to G-E-T, like faggot. And then now, it's worse than being called trash. I don't think there's anything more disposable or deplorable, maybe. Nigger is just a color, not a purpose. Yeah. So I guess you could say like noir, Niger, black. Yeah, I get that. But it's also like, technically, what are we talking about? Somebody who's lazy, unmotivated, and unruly. So everybody.
I think he meant that kind of literally, like burn fags.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Got it. No, thank you. Fag is something you burn. It's worse than being called. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that was a little slow.
Agree.
Edward Snowman also says, but I wouldn't censor you because then I wouldn't be able to trust you. I'm not a girl. So go ahead and defend. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to the Rumbleicious. Oh yeah. So there it is, guys. That's still on the screen. If you ever touch this button, don't do that. Don't do that, all 21 people watching. Don't touch this one that says like. Don't you dare do that, you bastards. And then definitely don't click this one and support the show. That would be terrible of you. How dare you? And if you don't do that, then you totally shouldn't go over to SemperFryLLC.com, where you can get the 90 essential nutrients by clicking this button here. It is a button. It's a picture, I know, but it says Azure Well. You click that. You click that. And the whole food multivitamin is super important, key component to all of this. There are trace minerals in this, so if you can't get anything else, the whole food multivitamin should be what you prioritize. All right, get that. The Alaskan cod liver oil is their essential fatty acids. You're moving down, moving down, moving down. Click, and then it says the fulvic humic blend. This is at the very least a 3-month supply. So divide that 50 by 3, and that's how much it actually costs you a month. And it could actually be 6 months worth, depending on what your serving size is. So it's not a monthly recurring thing that you have to keep going, because there's a plenty in there to keep you going for a while. And just keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. There's bentonite clay there. That's cool. And then the IP6 Supreme with an inositol, which is super important for production of red blood cells. Did you know that? Also, B vitamins help that too. There's magnesium, calcium, and magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, and the IP6 inositol hexaphospholate. This is the stuff that helps regulate your iron. Rebecca was given a bag of iron when she after she has heavy periods or whatever, and then they like said, oh, you need an infusion, transfusion. She has no red blood cells, yada yada yada. And then they said she was low in iron. I'm like, I bet you it's not because you're actually low in iron. I bet you it's all in your tissues because you have the same bone and joint problems and you're always sore all the time and all this other stuff. I go, I bet you it's not because it's not in you. It's just not in the right place. So she's been taking that. I don't know why I'm trying to keep her alive. I gotta examine my head. Anyway, yeah. So get the 90 essential nutrients, and when you do that, use code BB5. Yeah, I'm inherently good even when I shouldn't be. You know, certain people don't deserve that help. Do it anyway because it's the right thing to do. All right, so BB5. This link right here is already 10% off. You click it, you get your extra 5% off. It says apply code. You got to click it. It opens up the window, and then you type in BB5 for 5% off. If you don't do that, then you're a poop head, because that's how I get credited, and that's how Dr. Monzo gets credited for the transaction. All right. Pre-scrap Beyond Babylon. You saw that in the show yesterday. The Lost show, if you're over on Crusaders. This guy right here, everybody should have a copy of it, or the electronic copy of it. It's only going to get better with the second book. Hey, listen, if people want to fund me to 40K, so I can actually take the time off that's necessary, I will make a comprehensive book or book series where I go through the Edda, Makers of Civilization, and his biography, and then still tie it to Malthus and the eugenics program, the genocidal eugenics program that has been instituted through science and through healthcare in all countries throughout the world, and why that is still the same cult that we talk about in the British Edda, and prove it to you. I will do that, but I need to have the time to do it. The only way to do that is to not have to worry about running around and providing for the family every goddamn month and just making it every time. I can't do that stress and write the book. If you guys want me to write the book, or the books with an S, I need that much. I need at least 40K. If you want to do 50, that's great. But yeah, because it's going to take some time, and I need to be able to feel like everybody else is taken care of, because that's the first important thing, is to make sure that everybody else is taken care of before I go on what I would consider a more me mission than them mission. You know, I can't worry about myself before I worry about them. Food Star, 6% off all sauces and creatine. Prove to me that this site still works. Place an order. Okay? Get some of the hot sauce. Do that. All right. There we are. Dun, 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 dun. And where are you at? Was there something else I was supposed to do? Oh yeah. I went through all that, and I forgot to go to this thing to see what people had said. So yeah, use this $sign. Prove to me that that one works. We have a couple subscribers over here on Brumple. Where we at? If you donate 50, get off here. Rumble takes I don't think that's true, so I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, you could just use the Gifts and Go if you really wanted to. Gifts and Go is right there. Da-da-da. All right, and then I don't know if it's that much, Karen. It might be. Yeah, Karen says National Guard. One of my roofers was one. His stories he told me were absolutely horrific. He bragged about hitting U.S. citizens in the face with the butt of his gun. That was in the 90s. And she says, Archangel, can you see the chat? Do the rest separately because it'll stay in the series. I'm not sure what that's about. Do you know what she's talking about?
She was referring to the books.
Oh, okay. That was recent then. I don't know. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. No, she was talking about the show, right? When talking about getting the, reading that last portion of the, yeah. Yep, Archangel said what I was thinking. Excellent conversation, Daniel and Archangel. Yep, mental illness is manipulation and subjective to someone's indoctrinated beliefs for the most part. This dude sounds so left-wing. Are you a fucking faggot? Catholic homosexual? Are you a fucking piece of shit? See what I mean? Like a complete antithesis of the reality.
No shit, though, right?
Like, what kind of a fucking faggot says that? Oh, you're a groiper? Is that groipa? Like you're an old groiper? You follow around a 26-year-old fucking homosexual and you're a quote unquote Catholic and you have shit to say about me? Go fuck yourself, you fucking homo. How does that make me? How does that make me left wing? Are you a fucking retard? Are you an absolute fucking retard? Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? See ya. Oh, I think Karen might have already done it. Maybe Karen already did it. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like she had already done it. Karen's on top of shit today.
Shout out to Karen.
You need to listen before you assume what this channel is about. If you still believe in the left-right paradigm, get caught up and educate yourself, she said. Karen said, I'm more patient than Daniel. Please explain or I'm going to have to mute you. Okay, she's already done this. We the people don't need tyrannical governments, NorCal Cowboy says. And then Karen said, bye, you're a troll. Enjoy your miserable existence. Nice, Karen. And then Karen said, haven't seen you in the chat before, NorCal. Thank you, cool channel. Just followed, I'll check out. And then said, thanks. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. Okay, here Karen says, IP6 Supreme also does cancer things. Yes, it does. Regardless of what we've been told. That, oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Karen. What is this I hear now? That right as they dump all this shit about Epstein onto the public, that they're now releasing information about cancer cures? Is that really going mainstream now? Is that what am I hearing this correctly? That said 5 different cures for cancer? Like we all know that it's obviously not chemo and radiation that does that. It's that kills you faster. It's the treatment that kills you. But someone said that they were actually dumping these things out onto the open, and their thoughts were that it was to offset people from paying attention to the Epstein files and all the horrible, debaucherous, wickedly evil child eating and raping that's in those pages and who's in those pages. To hey, look, there's 5 cures for cancer. Why would they do that? Because they if whoever the hand of this is releasing both, so it's still more about the distraction, but it's also about it doesn't matter what the hell you believe anymore because you're not going to be around long enough to do anything about it. That's my theory, and that's my concern.
Bingo.
Is that either this digital prison is going to snap into place, and it'll be a longer period of time before we're all fucking consumed by it, or some big event's going to occur, and maybe also a whirlwind bullshit thing where we're launched into a war with Iran, but also there's going to be a Purim at home with all this anti-Semitism shit. There's going to be, I think, multiple things happening at the same time to cause as much confusion and horror as they possibly can. And maybe, just maybe, since everything else will be online, all the people who got injected with fucking tech might also be going online, and who knows what the fuck they can manipulate those people into doing. If what they say about the shots is true. Supplements are good to take also in. Yeah, that's exactly true. If you NorCal, if you are not familiar with our Wednesday show with Dr. Glidden, yeah, you'd probably enjoy it. Daniel, I kicked him already. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, she says, I bet at least $5 that the 5 cures they release are big pharma lies. Oh, you left us. I think your phone died, bro. Polycrisis. All right, well, that's kind of good anyway, because we're kind of like at the end. All right. Yeah, I think we're good. But, this is funny because we very rarely ever have people coming in here to shit bomb as they were. And we've had at least 2, maybe more on this particular episode because it's this fucking element. This is not natural. This isn't just people who are belligerent. These are people who are working this gang stalking bullshit. Basically, this is something that you should expect from governmental agencies and fucking people who are completely insincere, lying to your face. Crypto, or as I call them, fake natties, because they're not real national socialists. They're LARPing neo-Nazi. They're playing the role of ultra racist stereotype from fucking movies. That's what they are, because people are that low of comprehension that they are going to follow that, right? They're going to think that that's what. Oh, is that what being a German back in the day was? No, it's not at all. Could have thanked me for my time. Why did you leave? I didn't expect you to go. What is that? Whose time? We both spent the same my time and your time. Why did you hang up the phone? I wasn't done. I wasn't even going to stop the show until I just saw that you hung up. I was just doing an interlude and reminding people that there's ways to support the show. No, I didn't hang up. I saw the little picture just go zoom, and then went back to my daughter's picture. And I'm like, I guess he hung up or his phone died. I was surprised that you had done that. That's why I was like, okay, I guess we're just gonna wrap up the show then. All right. Well, I don't know why we disconnected. I didn't press any buttons. Oh, there's not any buttons on a flat screen anyway, right? On a touch screen. There's no buttons really. It's magic. All right, well, I will thank you for your time, and yeah, no problem. For my time too. How about that? Everybody's entitled to both. But yeah, this is another episode of this Sun's Day, and we do the we could one of these days we're gonna have to test that Video Ninja again and see if we can get it to work. I know I can't do it on Archangel setup, but maybe we can get somebody else to come in and try it. Because once that gets set up, it might actually replace. Once we figure out all the bugs and no echoes and everybody can hear each other properly, it might actually replace, for the most part, the StreamYard. And StreamYard is kind of everything's quadrupled in price since I started streaming. So it's just, anything to get rid of something would be great. Smoke Boss is good sauce, by the way. So is the Venom, which is probably behind my head. And let's go up here. The Humzingers, garbanzo beans, and cumin taste like a spicy hummus. Spicy avocado, when pig flies bacon, original, and butter, believe it, and whippersnapper. Yeah, you could, and oh yeah, by the way, the Zeus juice, if you like it a little bit spicier, lots of garlic, cayenne, and habanero. That combination just tastes good together. Like, I don't know what it is about habanero and garlic, but it's freaking amazing. Same thing with mango and habanero, which is the nemesis. Okay, there we go. If you want to jump on to say say a closing statement, come on, Archangel. I would have given you the floor. Yeah, I didn't expect you to jump out or whatever happened. But yeah, if you want to come on and do a closing statement, by all means. Discord is tied to Palantir and it's really bad. Okay, cool. I know Discord started asking for IDs and shit. I wouldn't be surprised that it's connected to Palantir. I'll have to look at that later. Everything is coming to a very demonic close around us. Let's see. Archangel said, "My bad, Dan. Just hung up on. I thought it was you. No. Catch you in the next one. Are you sure you don't want to come on and just do your?" No? Let's see what I'm looking. Dave's just sent me something. There's like an article. Searchlight. New Hampshire idiocy saves day for Holocaust denial summit. Oh yeah, they call it Holocaust denial because it's living in reality. The Holocaust summit that they did on FTJ got targeted. But it must be because we're 8,200 that Jews are attacking Jews, right? You fucking stupid retard. Anybody who says dumb shit like that needs to get slapped in their face or in their male vaginas. I will assume that we are good. And I guess Archangel is going to call back in for a final word. Thank you everybody on FTJ. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it, Edward Snowman and Thomas Dwyer. Johansson Per Haken, thank you for at least popping in and saying hello. And everybody, Karen, for being a mod and actually having mod stuff to do for the first time in forever. We don't have shitters. We don't have shit talkers until you mingle with dumb fucks and they act a fool and they screw up and then they have to project and blame you for it. It's hilarious, childish, retarded, and yeah. We'll just keep winning while they fucking self-destruct. Thank you to Archangel for being here. Appreciate it. And tomorrow probably we'll do the continuation. Like, I feel pretty good now, but I want to go do my other shit. Awesome live stream. I will be checking out more. Thank you, NorCal Cowboy. And yeah, thanks to all the new people that are on the show. And Archangel, I never would have just dropped you like that, bro. I saw the screen change the zoom until I saw my daughter's picture and I'm like, all right, maybe he thought I was being boring or something. Please explain in an algorithm I can comprehend. Sincerely. That's funny. All right, well, we're good. We're good. I appreciate everything, and we'll call it a day. And over on Patreon, more people should be over there. That way we can get off all this bullshit and just have our own little, like, secret club hangout. Yeah? Like we'll build a treehouse somewhere. That'd be cool. We'll have, like, a secret knock. Right? That one's too annoying and that sounds too much like you're going to a soccer game. Later.